Hello everyone, welcome once again. Some ESK football here, bring you Manchester United versus Brighton live stream Premier League EPL football match today, guys. Yep, you're gonna get real on-time scores, real on-time stats, play-by-play ball movement here, and my full-time match reaction for this fixture like that. Yeah, people. So Manchester United, they'll be hoping to be from that late win against Southampton, guys. But then people, they can't afford to play the way they actually did in that first half against Southampton like that, because they were actually shocking. You know, that first half was nothing to write for home for them like that. It was all about Amad Diallo stepping up in the last 10 minutes of the game to pull out a hat-trick, guys, and bail out Manchester United in that game like that. But then people, let's see how it's going to play out here. Manchester United, they are playing at home. They are playing a Brighton side that, yeah, they're also in like they're unbeaten in the last 5 matches, guys, and they're scoring goals. So if they have the chances, they're going to take them. If they have the chances, they're going to take them, guys. Southampton actually didn't kill the game in the first half against Manchester United, guys. But Brighton, they have knick-off strikers, they have goal scorers. So if Manchester United, they play the way they did against Southampton, they can be punished here like that. So let's see how it's going to play out here. Some SK Football got you covered. Please make sure you hit the like button as you're tuning in here. Subscribe to the channel. Join the channel as members. It's going to help us a lot with our unique commentary streams here on the platform like that. Also follow Sami SK Football on all social media platforms, guys. Meanwhile, also we have our match highlights Chrome extension that is available right now. So at full time, you can head over there and you're going to get real on-time extended highlights as they're coming in here for the top matches worldwide, guys. So Sami SK Football always gets you covered. Make sure you download and install the Chrome extension, guys. Meanwhile, without any further delay here, let's do this. Let's go right away straight to the lineups here for this one. So we have lineup here for Manchester United, and we have lineup here for Brighton, guys. And so starting 11 lineup here for Man United, we have Ugarte, we have Dalot, we have Masraoui, we have Maguire, we have Delete, Yolo. We have goalkeeper Onana starting here. We have Joshua Zexit, guys. Good to see Zexit starting here in place of Højlund. And then we have Bruno Fernandes and the big man himself, guys, Amad Diallo and Kobbie Mainoo starting here for Manchester United. Meanwhile, for Brighton, we have Mitoma, we have Arai, we have Carlos Baleba there, we have Minte, we have Estopinian, we have Dong, we have Heck, we have Vietnam, we have Reckenberg, we have Welbeck, guys. Danny Welbeck is back, starting 11 here for Brighton. Then we have Pedro there, and Mitoma, guys, starting there for this Brighton side. Yep, guys, so you can see it's Danny Welbeck loves playing against Manchester United, guys. Yeah, wow, people. Man United, they need to be careful there. Ugarte and Mainoo still in that midfield pivot, guys, and then Joshua Zexit coming in and that attack line like that. Let's see how it's gonna play out, guys. I'm SK Football got you covered. Please like the stream, guys, as you're tuning in here. Subscribe to the channel, and also please, you can support us by joining the channel as members, guys. It's gonna help us a lot with the commentary share on the platform like that. So without any further delay, let's do this. Let's go right away straight to the arena right now. So lineups there for you to see for yourself. Then we have some early images that are coming in here for this fixture like that. Kickoff is under for 44 minutes, guys. So people tune in and let's do this. Let's go right away straight to the arena. And so it's gonna be Manchester United versus Brighton live stream Premier League EPL football match today on YouTube, Sami SK Football YouTube channel, guys. So put tune in and let's do this. Let's go right away straight to the arena right now. Let's go.
To dry on a week-to-week basis and your team's stinking up and it's always your fault. Very much not quite the same, but for those two, you know, they have their traits where 1v1 they're aggressive in terms of how they want to defend. You know, they can take the ball to their feet, but they don't have to. It's not like a huge part of their game whereby others are being forced to do that. And they want to defend. I think for me, some of the best players I played with are the ones who are committed to like celebrating the little moments defensively. We stop this person, we stop that person, we stop this cross, we block this shot. And those things there, make you want to be out there, make you want to be alongside people celebrating those little moments, because as a defender, I mean, what else are you going to be celebrating? You're not scoring 20 a season, are you? So, yeah.
A big thing for me is a lot that we look past these days is And if you watch them two play, they defend very, very simple. And I mean, and when I say simple, it's not simple because you play in the Premier League and it's a real touch. You're playing some of the best strikers in the world. But I mean, in terms of if the ball's there to be cleared, they clear it and it goes. Whereas a lot of centre-backs now if the ball there, they'll try and find a way out or they'll try and find a pass to keep all the ball, get control. It just goes. I watched them in midweek, obviously. It was a great game against Liverpool. It was end-to-end. It was fantastic. Probably a game that Nuno probably doesn't want, obviously, having the experience of working under him. But it was end-to-end. It was a great game of football. But every time the ball came into that box, it went as far away from the goal as possible. And the way they do it and the way they're not bothered about doing that as well is you get a lot of centre-backs now, and you guys will know that yourself, who think they can play probably maybe a little bit more than they probably can, and they've got managers who want them to play and play out in certain situations. They just go, and it just goes. And I love to see it. It's two centre-backs, like Nathan said, on the top of the game, and I think the way they're playing at the minute is top draw.
Yeah, the biggest compliment I can pay to them is I'd like to be playing in their back four. Do you know, because
he's getting dropped then.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. No, but it's simple. You're there to defend, and it's not just the back four, it's not just the back five. They've kept quite a settled team, so everyone knows what they're doing, and it's almost an acceptance of even the two wingers are more than happy to chase, I wouldn't say lost causes, but like more direct balls forward. You've got a striker who, when the ball goes up in and around him within 15, 20 yards, he is the best in the Premier League at getting hold of it, keeping it, and then bringing the creative players in. So it's not a case of the defenders are just shunting the ball out of the defensive area, and the next thing you know, they're defending for the whole game. Yeah, they do play a bit of a counter-attacking football, but it all sort of everyone complements each other. They've got ball carriers in midfield, so when they need to take a break, you've got your Morgan Gibbs-White and your Andersons that can carry the ball. Your wide men are ridiculously quick. They're happy to take the pressure off, but the whole team and the whole setup, obviously, Conor No More, he's worked under Nuno. They just seem very, very sort of confident in what they're going to do. They're happy. They'll defend for 20 minutes. If they've got to defend for 20 minutes and literally not have the ball much, they're more than happy to do so. And at the moment, they're doing it really, really well.
It's so similar to our Wolves team, honestly. And I don't mean the formation because they played with a back four. We played with a back five. Majority of the time, Nuno was there. But in terms of quite I say simple way of playing. It sounds stupid that because the Premier League's so hard to play, and so it's not simple. But how he kind of makes you understand his idea of football is so clear, honestly, and it's obviously shown with this Nottingham Forest team as well. And Jags mentioned it there, just a settled side. He was huge on that when he was at Wolves with us. We very rarely changed. I think at the time when he was at Wolves, we were one of the least for changing players each and every game. We used to play the same team more often than not. Every single, might have been one change per game. So he's doing the exact same. He's not gone away from that idea, and I'm so happy for him because obviously what I had with him a few years ago was unbelievable, and just seeing him obviously go to a club and obviously have the impact he had as being brilliant. But I think a massive part of it, as Jag said, is just having that settled side and moving forward with that.
The more I hear about Nuno Espirito Santo, the more I find it difficult to work out why it just didn't happen for him at Tottenham, because he's obviously done incredible jobs before and after that. Is it the profile of the club? What do you think it is? When people like you describe working for him, it's hard to imagine it kind of not working, to be honest.
Yeah, my opinion on it, and I've got an opinion on it, is in terms of his style. If we look at Nottingham Forest now and the way they play, I don't think he can play that way with Tottenham. I don't think you can play that way with a top 6 club, a top 5 club, top 4 club. I say top 4 club, but whatever it may be. But I don't think you can play that way. I think they expect more. I think they expect high pressure. And I expect you want man-to-man pressure. You're winning the ball high up the pitch. And Nuno is very much a counter-attacking manager, a counter-attacking team. We were a counter-attacking team at Wolves. And I think you can do that at teams maybe under the top 6, top 8. And you take them to levels they've probably never been to before. I know not so years and years ago at incredible times. But I just mean in terms of this day and age, I think you can do it at clubs that he's been at. So Wolves with myself, obviously Nottingham Forest now. Whereas when he went to Tottenham, there was a whole different expectancy on him. It was, we need to get after teams and do that. And I think him going there is a bit like, no, you sit in, and then going to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you're sitting in and trying to counter-attack and you've not got the ball for the majority of the game. It becomes tough. So I think it's more along them lines. Yeah,
I think that's fair. And the point that you've made as well is the contrast in terms of what the expectation is. Like, we start the conversation talking about the two centre-halves. If those two centre-halves are playing the same way at Arsenal, if they're playing the same way at Liverpool or, say, Man City, we'll be saying, well, they shouldn't really be playing. You know what I mean? They need to be doing more, need to be offering way more. But in this system, it works perfectly. And I'd like to know what you think about this, because when I see these Nuno teams play, having seen the Wolves team, having played against that Wolves team, I feel like it's really good as long as you're scoring.
Yeah.
Like, what's it like when, say, for example, the goals dry up? Because in this moment, you've got Chris Wood, you've got the front three doing everything that they're doing, and defensively it's really good. But then it feels like the weight of every goal they score is bigger than, say, other teams, because, you know, defensively it's great, but, you know, how are they creative?
I think what was always good with us, as we were a counter-attack team, I think we look at Nottingham Forest now, they're a counter-attack team. I think what was always good with us, defensively, we very rarely conceded. We kept a lot of clean sheets because we had a back five, we were solid, we knew how to defend, we were together. And that always gave us confidence to say we can win. Even if we nick a game 1-0, it doesn't matter. We could have one chance on goal, but we'll defend all game and we'll win. And everybody got kind of accustomed to that. Everybody got confident. And I never went through a period with him, I don't think, over the years that I had with him, where we actually, don't get me wrong, we never scored loads of goals. It was never 3-0, 4-0, these sorts of games, but we'd always win a game 1-0, 2-1. It would always be that. I could count on one hand how many games we had more than 2 goals. So, but that gave us confidence. He instilled in us from day one. We were a defensive team. That would give us confidence as long as we stayed in the game. And even in the Championship, we were the same. We had more of the ball in the Championship, but it was still, we focused so much defensively that when we got the ball, we had flyers and we could go in. The confidence from us was from defending. It wasn't actually from attacking. And we nicked games 1-0, 2-1, whatever it may be.
Such a good feeling as a defender, isn't it? Do you know when you look around your whole team, even you can see set pieces and all sorts, and everyone is desperate to keep a clean sheet. You're always in every single game. But as Nedum says, you do need that point of, well, we can't defend for 90 minutes. Give us something. So, but the best buzz would be, how many times have you scored first? They must have scored first quite a few times. And you can almost look around the team. As soon as they've scored the first goal, they're almost looking around thinking, we probably won this one.
Yeah.
Do you know? And it's not arrogance or confidence, it's just because you're so well drilled and you probably got your winger who maybe another team may not chase back. He's now in the corner flag. He's because if he doesn't, A, he doesn't play, or B, he can't walk into that changing room and look his teammates in the eye. And I think again that seems to what Nuno had at Everton when I first went there. We couldn't buy a striker. We had no money. So our job was to make sure we kept a clean sheet, but try and score a goal without being too negative. But again, when we scored goals, we had Cahill's scoring headers and Fellaini's and things like that. You could almost sense the relief of buzzing. We've probably won this. Yeah. And as a defender, that's amazing. Whereas you flip it the other way around, you can never score, and now you can see the goal early, and they've got 70 minutes left of the game, and all you're thinking of, I can't make one mistake here. Oh no, what's going to happen? The negative side of it's so different.
Yeah, I've lived that. So it was 2006-07.
Like a support group, isn't it?
Stuart Pearce was manager, and in that season, one of the best defensive home records we had was in the second half of the season. But the second half of the season was also the part where at home we didn't score a goal from January through to May. At home, we didn't score a goal at home in 4 months. Did
you go for set pieces though, Nedum? So you've got a little bit of responsibility.
No. My friend, I was making sure we were sure at the back. The upside, I think the goal that we scored was against Everton. You would probably play it.
I'll probably give it away. Hey, thanks.
But literally, defensively, we weren't in a relegation dogfight, and we did not score a goal at home from the end of January through to the end of the season. Think about how defensively solid we had to be. But the amount of nil-nils was gross. And then if another team scored, just go home.
But again, you talked about expectations and where you're going to be in the league, and it's fine if you're getting a few decent away games and things like. And obviously at the time, Man City aren't trying to win a trophy or win the league, so it becomes okay, and you sort of accept it. Whereas
I don't know, Jax. It's tough, mate. I can hear everything. I can hear everything in the stadium. I know
it's probably me booing you.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I get it, and that was for me a point in my career where let's be clear about this. Yeah. So if you ever look at a video, when your team concedes a goal, you usually see strikers on the halfway line waving their arms in the air for goodness sake, these guys conceded again. That was probably the only time in my career where I'm on the halfway line looking at people miss chances thinking, oh my God, please.
You've been there
score.
though, we've all been there.
Yeah,
when it gets stressing, you're thinking, not again.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure, without trying to be disrespectful, that must be what goes on a little bit at Everton at the moment, because they have created chances. And I remember the last season when I think they played the first 5 games, had the most XG or whatever they call it, and just not scoring any goals. And it does come a point, but you don't want to be, because normally defenders aren't quite as vocal with their body language, shall we say, as attackers are. There's no way in God's earth defender can throw his arms up if the striker misses a chance, even though you really want to. And I think that's a big difference between where Forest are and where Everton are. Everton don't pose as big a threat, obviously, as Forest do, and Forest score goals. Because they both enjoy defending.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've both kept, I think Everton have kept a lot of clean sheets, but there's a massive difference with probably the belief that they're going to actually go and score a goal.
Yeah, I also think from buying into, so Forest, for example, have bought into the fact of their counter-attack team. Going back to it, playing under Nuno when I was there, what we were really good at, and I love it this day and age because everyone wants to control the game with the ball, don't we? We all want the ball and we all want to play and we all want to do it.
I didn't.
You know what I'm saying? People now want to play, don't they? But his idea was controlling the game without the ball. So we wanted the opposition to have the ball, to force them into a wide area, to then go and press and then go and counter-attack. And it was so good. And I see it now with the Forest team. They let the opposition have the ball. Forest will have 30-40% of the ball and they're not bothered. They just back off and they just do what they need to do. So seeing it now and seeing how he's doing it, it was very, very similar, yeah.
You all enjoyed that a lot, I could tell. A real centre-back's dream discussion.
Yeah.
So let's hear from a man who gives you nightmares, shall we? Ipswich versus Manchester City, full commentary at 4:30. On Friday, Erling Haaland signed a record-breaking 9-year contract. So he put pen to paper twice.
Dear defenders, I've been reflecting on these last few years together.
Erling Haaland is a phenomenon.
Like any relationship, there's been ups and downs, highs and lows. That's natural. Yes, we had our battles, but you pushed me to be the best version of myself. And while things can get heated, we all need to let our hair down sometimes. Anyway, there's been a lot of rumors flying around recently. I get it. Sometimes you might not want me around. But I think we need each other. In other words, you complete me.
A trademark celebration.
So all I have to say is, sorry. I'm here to stay. Early.
You've got to say that is a great piece of content from Manchester City's in-house media. Also, it's always nice to get a handwritten line at Connor.
I'll tell you what, he's some player and he has some confidence. I need to be saying, yeah, no, I've never seen anything like that before. I was having a little giggle there, weren't we? I've never seen that before. But no, listen, what is it, 9.5 years? I've never seen that before in my life. Have we? Do you know what I mean, in terms of how long he's signed? But incredible striker. I think we need him in the Premier League, don't we, for what he brings. And yeah, it's going to be a tough few years for a few people.
Erling Haaland, we know all the great goal scoring stats. What about this one? 1 goal versus Conor Cody in 110 minutes of football. That's pretty good going.
Is that what it is? Is it? Yeah, is that what it is?
You're going for Connor or for
I know.
What? 1 goal
I'd
for
rather
Erling
it be
Haaland
zero.
in 110 minutes against Conor Cody.
So that's good for who, sorry?
For Conor.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'd rather it be zero.
Well, of course he'd rather it be 0.
If he averaged 110 minutes per goal in his career, he'd be doing all right.
Yeah, but I think he averages better than 110 minutes per goal in the round.
So saying Connor's above average.
Yeah.
Nice, well done, Connor.
Both average, mate.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Did you do anything differently the second time that you played against him versus the first time that you played against him?
No, I looked at... No, listen, you've got to be switched on for 95 minutes or whatever he's playing against the other line. You've got to look at the clips. You've got to look at... I say he's good at everything. So you can't pick up... I was mentioning before about looking at opposition that I come up against and saying, right, are they really good at that? Are they really good at this? Whatever. He's good at everything. Absolutely everything. So you've got to make sure if there's no pressure on the ball, for example, you give yourself a yard to run back. Simple as that. If there's pressure on the ball, squeeze the pitch and leave him offside as much as you can. The ball's coming in the box. You've got to get hold of him. Every single aspect of the game and every single action in the game, you've got to be concentrated playing against him because he's literally the best in the world at everything he does.
Would you say you're like a normal centre-back in terms of how you approach players in today's game? In terms of like the preparation 2 days before?
Maybe not normal. I can't imagine... Listen, I've got to do that to give myself as much information as I can because there's better players than me in the Premier League. It's as simple as that. So I've got to do that to give myself as much information. I wouldn't say everyone's like that. There's players in our dressing room like that. Quite a lot of players in our dressing room like that. So I can only speak on kind of experience of playing with certain players who do that sort of thing. So there is a lot of players who do that, but I feel the need to do that every single game because I'm coming up against one of the best strikers in the world kind of every week at this moment in time. So I've got to make sure I get as much information as I can.
So I feel as well with Haaland, like he's gone through a bad spell now, and he's his second top scorer in the league. You know, he went through a bad spell last year, finished the top scorer in the league, and I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but I think as a defender, there's sometimes the unrealistic expectations that are put upon you to like stop somebody from scoring. I think you can make it as hard for them as possible, but when we're talking about the best of the best, sometimes there's like a sense of hope, like. I think there's so many players in the last, say, 2 years or 3 years that have watched him miss chances he probably could have scored and should have scored.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, like, your love for clean sheets and stuff. I've grown out of it a little bit, just because there's some clean sheets I got where we got battered. And as I'm walking away, I'm not thinking, oh, I'll tell you what, we were good today. But then the unfairness of like football is sometimes when you play better, but you still concede. And I don't know if you'd agree, but like with Haaland at times, as you've said, I think he's a freak.
Yeah.
And I think when he's like on, you can make it hard, but he'll do something ridiculous.
No, and it's funny as well, because you mentioned there about him, he's unbelievable, everything he does, but you can try and affect him as much as you can, but then you can't affect Bernardo Silva, and you can't affect Kevin De Bruyne, who might whip one in between you and the keeper. You know that cross that he loves?
Yes.
Where the ball comes back to him, that little half-space cross where first time, I remember years ago we were playing against City and we said, just to stop that cross. So you know when the ball goes back, you take a yard up, don't you? As a centre-back line, you try and take a yard up just to try and affect the cross. We never started, we stopped taking the yard up because they were so good at running from deep and him flashing that ball in between you and the goalkeeper in that channel for them just to nod in. So we ended up just standing still and letting the ball come in so we could attack it from behind. So you can affect Haaland all you want and try and get hold of him in the box or try and do something, because you know yourself, Ned, from the ball being crossed, he always flips onto the back full-back anyway. So he leaves you as a centre-back because he knows and he's clever and he tries to get above full-backs to get his head in at the back post. How many goals has he scored like that? So you can affect him as much as you like, but then you've got 10 other absolutely incredible players who can find a ball or clip it to the back post or find his chest and he can manoeuvre the ball. It's so tough,
Why is he scoring less goals, do you think, then?
I think City have struggled as well.
Yeah.
I think City have found it tough at times, like every team does. Listen, City have showed the human beings, I think, a little bit this season, because over the last few years, they've been like robots, haven't they? They've been an absolute machine of winning football games and showing us incredible football. So I think they've showed them the human, and I think they've had a tough time this year, and I think that's affected them.
Will you be pinning that letter up? I don't know if people pin things up on dressing room walls anymore, but I think I might.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's heard it, haven't they? I hadn't heard that until then. So, yeah, listen, he's an incredible footballer. He's got an enormous amount of confidence, and listen, it's better for the Premier League if he's here.
Well, I think you've got to be a brave centre-half if you're going to pin the letter up and try and stop him for the rest of his career, to be perfectly honest. You've got no chance. He scores impossible goals. He jumps higher than the crossbar. He's got the biggest wingspan in the world with his legs, right foot, left foot, as Connor said, and then he's got arguably the best people behind him supplying him the delivery as well. So I think the only reason they've struggled this year, purely seasons before, Pep changed his team when he wanted to. This season he's had to change his team because he's either had to through injuries or through to lack of form, and that's a totally different concept. When you change the team because the team's doing well, a player can come into that team doing well, and at times any of us three could have played in midfield for Man City last season, the season before, when they were playing so well. Put us in midfield this season, we would have been horrendous. So it's just what happens. The team can't have gone a decade of winning everything. Something was going to happen. It has now. It's interesting. They've signed a few players, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this new version of Man City turns out.
Yeah, so Ipswich versus Manchester City in full on 5 Live, 4:30. 3 Premier League commentaries for you at 2 o'clock. We're looking at pictures of David Moyes at Goodison Park at the minute. Everton versus Tottenham. That's live in full at 2 on 5 Sports Extra. Nottingham Forest versus Southampton. The cameras have just been zooming in on Forest goalkeeper Matt Sells. Kept more clean sheets than anyone else in the Premier League this season. That one's on the BBC Sport website and app. And we can see Old Trafford really starting to fill up now. Manchester United versus Brighton, including what will be very powerful tributes to the great Dennis Law. Manchester United Brighton in full at 2 here on 5 Live. We will talk bit of rugby union, Australian Open tennis, Masters snooker final, WSL, and then we'll be back for more build-up at Old Trafford, all after the news on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Thanks, Steve. Good afternoon. There's been a pause in fighting in Gaza after a ceasefire agreement began between Israel and Hamas. 3 female hostages are expected to be released by the Palestinian group at around 2 o'clock UK time. Our correspondent Jonah Fisher is at the hospital near Tel Aviv where they'll be taken.
We're at Sheba Medical Centre on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. It's one of the biggest hospitals in the Middle East. We're expecting them to fly here by helicopter to land here and then be taken probably inside, out of view of the public, and they will be receiving medical attention. It's very possible that some of these hostages have injuries. There were reports that 2 of them had received gunshot injuries when they were taken on October the 7th.
The ceasefire was delayed earlier because Israel said Hamas hadn't sent them the names of the hostages who'd be freed. Military strikes continued on Gaza at the time. Ahmed Abu Razik is an English teacher and translator there. She told 5 Live what she saw.
When we were going to our houses, destroyed houses, we heard bombed, and until this moment, the Israeli drones still hovering above our heads and drop bombs from time to time. We found bodies on the corners. We found blood everywhere. No house is still standing, especially in the northern side of Gaza.
Gabi Pell is an Israeli resident who lives in Jerusalem. He says he's disappointed that Hamas hasn't been completely destroyed.
Everybody in Israel wants the hostages home. And everybody else in Israel also would like the Gazan civilians to stop having to endure what they've been going through. But I think we realise that the only way that can happen is with the end of Hamas. And we don't see that happening in the short term.
In other news now, a 47-year-old woman has been charged with attempted murder after another woman was attacked in Dover. The incident took place on Friday. The victim, who was in her 50s, has been discharged from hospital. And TikTok has gone offline for most users in the United States after it was banned by officials. They're concerned the platform could be a risk to national security. It's thought Donald Trump will pause the ban when he becomes president again tomorrow. He's posted the message, Save TikTok, on his Truth Social platform.
On Radio 4, the more you listen, the more you see.
Great minds don't think alike. They challenge each other to think differently. They disrupt, teach, collect, synthesise. From Malcolm X to Marie Curie, Socrates to Seisha Nagan, great minds are eccentrics, workaholics, revolutionaries. Join me, Naomi Alderman, for inspirational stories of great minds that thought nothing alike. Human Intelligence. Listen on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Couple of live scores to bring you up to date with. A very dramatic minute in the Scottish Cup tie between Falkirk and Raith Rovers. Falkirk have just had a man sent off and then scored. All championship tie. That's 10 minutes to go. Falkirk lead Raith Rovers by 1-0, but Falkirk are down to 10. Rangers against Fraserburgh is a 2:15 kick-off. We're going to speak to the chairman of Fraserburgh a little bit later. In the Women's Super League, it's Tottenham 1, Leicester 0. Just started the second half there. These are the sounds of Ellen Road. Leeds looking to go back to the top of the championship. Mike Minay.
Yeah, could have done with some drama from that Raith Rovers match. I think Leeds 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Second half certainly hasn't had the vocalism from the fans that the first half had, with probably good reason. They haven't had a lot to keep themselves going, bar the odd foul that they feel should or shouldn't have been given. Delete is appropriate on that one. It has been comfortable for the home side. I can't think of a save that Ilan Meslier has had to make. I can only think of one for James Beadle at the other end, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. So as it stands, all good for Leeds, heading top of the championship. Leeds 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
In rugby union, it's the final day of group matches in the Champions Cup. 3 English sides in action, all up against French opposition. Correspondent Chris Jones is with us. Afternoon, Chris.
How's it going, Steve? You right?
All good. Why don't we start with Sale, because it's just must win for them against Toulon, isn't it? They're bottom of the group.
Must win, and must win well. You know, because of Racing 92's win yesterday, Sale have got to make up a load of points on the French or beat Toulon with a try bonus points of scoring 4 tries. So it's a very tall order. Yes, Sale are outstanding at home, but Toulon have looked really good in this competition so far. Got a load of English, British players. Dan Bigger at 10, the likes of David Ribbons, Lewis Ludlam, Carl Sinclair, all at Toulon at the moment. But an opportunity for Sale to do something special. If they do manage it and pull it off, they'll have to go away from home in the last 16. 7 Sale players named in the England squad this week. All 7 start for the Sharks.
So 5:30 is Sale versus Toulon, and then the 3:15 kickoffs, Toulouse against Leicester and Saracens against Cast. So Saracens and Leicester, they're already through, aren't they? But this is about home draws in the last 16.
It's really important. Leicester, again, talk about Sale's tall order against Toulon, even tougher when you go away to Toulouse. The greatest club in the world, Toulouse, with one of the greatest sides of all time. Romain Ntamak, Antoine Dupont, Thomas Ramos, Blair Kinghorn and the rest. So again, opportunity, but an incredibly stiff challenge for the Leicester Tigers. As you say, Steve, they are already through, but unless they can beat Toulouse, they don't have to win with the bonus point, just beat Toulouse and I suppose deny them anything as well. So that's what Leicester need, but they're more than likely, given who they play and where they're playing, to go away from home. But very different for Saracens. They can leapfrog Munster with any kind of win against Cast. Cast don't travel well. They don't have a rich history in this competition. So if Saracens can do that, they will get a home last 16 tie. They won't top the pool. Northampton did that yesterday. It was great to be at the Saints, watching them win a classic against Munster, and to see so many England and Ireland players in good form ahead of that massive showdown, Ireland-England, Dublin, in a couple of Saturdays' time.
Can't wait for that, Chris. Thank you very much indeed. And commentary of that game between Toulouse and Leicester is on the BBC Sport website and app. Then the second half will be available on 5 Sports Extra. It's finals day in the Masters snooker. Jamie Broughton is there.
And there was a huge ovation for Karen Wilson and Sean Murphy as they were introduced to the sellout crowd this afternoon, Steve. Murphy had the first chance in the opening frame and he took it in style, making a 94 break. We're now into frame 2. Murphy's had the first chance. He's just broken down on 31 when he missed the green to the middle. So a chance for Karen Wilson to maybe get a frame on the board. 10 is the target to be crowned Masters champion, lift the Paul Hunter Trophy and win £350,000.
Thank you, Jamie. British number 1 Jack Draper is out of the Australian Open, had to retire with a hip injury during his 4th round match against Carlos Alcaraz. That means there are no British players left in the men's or women's singles draws. Alcaraz now faces Novak Djokovic in what should be an absolutely mouth-watering quarter-final. The 4th round continues overnight. Commentary on 5 Sports Extra tomorrow. Tennis breakfast on air from 7 a.m. Iga Swiatek and Alex de Minaur amongst those in action. The WSL returns this weekend. Still Spurs 1, second bottom Leicester 0 in the early kick-off at 2 o'clock. Arsenal host Crystal Palace at Meadow Park. The first game for Renee Sleggers as permanent head coach. Katie Smith.
Yeah, afternoon, Stephen. The hope for Arsenal will, of course, be let's pick up exactly where we left off. They are unbeaten in the 3 months she's been at the helm. There was a lovely video released as well by the club this week when her permanent appointment was announced, where she insisted to the players, nothing will change now. I will still be that same down-to-earth, humble leader. And Arsenal could leapfrog City into second today with a win. So just the one change since they last played in the WSL. That was over a month ago. Captain Kim Little back in the midfield. Russo and Mead both start. For bottom side Palace, they racked up a 6-1 win over Sheffield United in the FA Cup on Tuesday. It's results, though, in the league that they really need to start collecting. They're a point from safety. Laura Kaminsky makes 2 changes from that win. Their new signing, it's the Canada international forward Clarissa Larisi, not involved today.
Thank you very much, Katie. In the Scottish Women's League Cup, the 2 semi-finals both take place at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Celtic versus Rangers and Hibs versus Aberdeen. So we'll keep you up to date with them later on. In the Men's Scottish Cup, still Falkirk 1, Wraith Rovers 0. Falkirk down to 10, just 6 minutes to go in that one. What a day it is for non-league. Fraserburgh, the Highland League side, that's the 5th tier, away to Rangers. Kenny Crawford's at Ibrox.
Yeah, so far in the Scottish Cup 4th round, Steve, there's been little in the way of shocks registering on the Richter scale. Championship Livingston knocking out Premiership Ross County yesterday, probably the best one, but there's still time for that to change, because Highland League Fraserburgh of the 5th tier have travelled 190 miles south to Ibrox in an attempt to cause the most massive of upsets. 7 changes to the Rangers starting 11 that beat Aberdeen on Wednesday. 18-year-old goalkeeper Mason Munn is given his first team debut. Attacking players Zach Lovelace, Ross McCausland and Cyril Dessers are given rare starts as well. Captain James Tavernier returns. Fraserburgh unbeaten in 11 games. They haven't lost a game since September, but they have had a lot of call-offs because of weather conditions and things like that over recent months. Their manager Mark Cowie is coming up to a decade in the job. 1,800 fans have made the journey to be here.
Thank you very much. Kenny Crawford at Ibrox will keep us right up to date. Right, we've got just over 15 minutes to go until you will get a choice of listening on 5 Live. Before we go back to the Premier League, actually, we can now speak to the chairman of Fraserburgh. Michael Murray has joined us live. Michael, good afternoon.
Just getting the cans on him. There he is. He's good to go.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you. We'll just turn your microphone up a little bit because it's a little bit loud in the background. I know you travelled down yesterday. Just give us an idea of how it feels to you, half an hour away from a tie this size?
Oh, this is just unbelievable. And to sit here looking across at all the Fraserburgh fans on the far side there of a sea of black and white is just amazing.
What is this going to do for you? You're an accountant by trade, so you really should be able to answer the financial questions.
Well, I have been sort of blanking those questions for quite some time, purely to temper expectation, because we didn't know the crowd coming here today. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure we can make this a lasting legacy for the club and not just a one-season wonder.
And how do you do that? How do you make it a lasting legacy? And now that you can see how many are there, maybe you don't need to blank the question.
Well, I won't put a number on it, but for ourselves, it's going to allow us to develop our youth, develop the pitch, what we've been looking to do for a while, our facilities around the ground to make it better for the fans. And I am sure Mark, the manager, will be knocking on my door as well as the season progresses.
What about the town of Fraserburgh? What does it mean to everybody there?
Oh, it's just been a sea of black and white, shop windows, houses, everything there, black and white. And yesterday when we left the ground, we allowed our fans into the ground just to wave everyone off, and that gave a lump in the throat to see how many people turned out. And I think the players themselves were amazed and shocked at how many were there to wave them off.
And you know, Michael, I experienced a little bit of this at Tamworth in the FA Cup in England the other week when I was there for their game against Tottenham. You know, the key thing is when you're an underdog like you, it's a great story and it's wonderful to talk to you and hear the story. You're not there to make the numbers up, are you? You're there to dream and to try and perform.
We certainly are. This is the players' chance to perform on a great stage for them nationally. And we watched Brighton the other day score a goal. So it's there. If a chance is given, let's hope we take it.
Michael, wish you all the best. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Michael Murray there, the chairman at Fraserburgh from the 5th tier at Rangers in the Scottish Cup this afternoon. Wraith Rovers have just equalised at Falkirk with 2 minutes to go in the Scottish Cup. Falkirk 1, Wraith Rovers 1, and another goal in the Championship at Ellen Road. Mike Mine.
Yeah, which will win it for Leeds as well. Arji Ramazani with the goal. He held the ball up brilliantly on the edge of the penalty area, managed to wriggle free of the defenders on the edge of the box. He had his back to goal at that point. He span round, left-footed low into the bottom right-hand corner. That means Leeds are going top of the Championship. Leeds 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Right, let's go back to Old Trafford then. 13 minutes to kick off. We will be handing over to Ali Bruce Ball and Dion Dublin just that little bit earlier to make sure we get every second of what will be really powerful tributes before kick-off to Dennis Law. So we've got Ali and Dion there. We've got Phil Jagielka, Nader Manua, Conor Cody with us in studio. So basically, Ali, we've got some great centre-backs and a great centre-forward, and I want to talk about the midfield right now. And you and I were speaking when you nipped into the office before heading off to Old Trafford. That Brighton midfield, that is going to be very, very difficult for Manchester United to deal with.
Yeah, I've been really impressed, Steve, actually. I mean, it's a very young midfield. It's a very young Brighton squad all round. But if you look at the two central midfielders that sit in front of that back four, Carlos Baleba, who's in his second season at the club, an absolutely classic Brighton signing, you know, the kind of player that they've gone and found and developed very quickly, and then suddenly you see him playing for Brighton, you think, wow, you know, what a footballer. Particularly in the home games that I've watched him playing, he is everywhere for Brighton. A real, you know, disruptor of play, a ball winner, but someone who can play with the ball at his feet as well. And then Yasin Ayari is the 21-year-old Swede that sits alongside him. So they're in that engine room. And then, as I was saying earlier on, Steve, when I delivered the team news today, I think the key thing as well is that Danny Welbeck is now able to start again as the centre forward. That drops Joao Pedro back a little bit, and he's able to operate in the spaces that he really loves to work in, because I think he finds it a little bit harder as the centre forward to affect the game the way he wants to. So they don't lose many games, Steve. I mean, this is a really tough game for Manchester United. They have a really good recent record against Manchester United, but if you look at them in the Premier League this season, Brighton, lots of draws. They've only lost 4 times. They're a really difficult team to beat.
They're also a team, Nathan, with unbelievable consistency on and off the pitch. And what I mean by that is because we know they lose managers and they lose players and they replace them. But I was just looking at them over the course of the last 3 years. So right now, they've got 1 point more than this time last year. They've got exactly the same number of points as the year before that. And they are only 1 place below where they were the season before that. So the manager changes, the players change all the time. What I wonder, though, about Brighton now is that is clearly brilliant consistency. But I wonder if you could also forgive fans for thinking, OK, this is great, but could we be Nottingham Forest? Could we be Bournemouth? Could we take that next step?
You see some of these outliers, they do ask you some questions, don't they? Like Leicester City winning the league a few years ago. Just makes you wonder, well, why not? But I think as I look at Brighton, we can obviously see how good a team they are, how good the individuals have been, and some of the results that they can have. But I think up until maybe 2 weeks ago, I was feeling a sense of unrest because they weren't getting the results that they thought they wanted. They went through a spell where they weren't winning as many games, and even though the overall outcome is the same, like I'm sure the guys will agree, like it's the journey sometimes. You know, if you start off red hot, let's be realistic, like you can't help but think you can continue being red hot. But then when it's then turns, you might average be in a position where you're supposed to be, but that doesn't feel as nice anymore. So I think they're a really good club, really good like fan base, the way they do things, big fan of it. And they know they can do big things. They know that they can. But the Premier League's very, very tough. And I think expectations for the 20 clubs in the league in any particular year, it's very hard for people to be realistic, I think.
It comes from us all as fans, doesn't it, wanting more. You always want more, don't you? So Brighton get to a point where they get into Europa League, and then you always want more because they're doing so well. They've been incredible. Honestly, you know why the Premier League's been over the last few years? And they've been right there and thereabouts in the European places, all them sorts of things for the last few years. The recruitments. That I actually played against the manager, you know, when he was at Germany under-16s.
Did you?
Yeah, for England under-16s. When we played them the other week, it popped up on at the Premier League thing, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I know you guys are older than me, to be honest, but it made me feel a bit old. But just the way they do it year on year, I think it's been incredible, and it's full credit obviously to the owners and how they've gone about the business.
Just the club is run like perfectly for a Premier League club. They manage to go and find those jewels every single season, or they've got one, they sell one for 100 million, they bring another one in for the next 100, and every club would like to be ran as safe and sound as Brighton, but I think that's the word, isn't it? It's quite safe, you know. But for me, that's not a bad thing. You start going out of your lane and potentially offering people more money or signing bigger players, have a bad season, and things can turn quickly. So yeah, sometimes it's difficult to be happy with what you've got, but again, new managers, season in, season out, new players, season in, season out, and it's a good time to be a Brighton fan at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. But I've got to say as well, in terms of consistency, you've got like a Lewis Dunk, and I think for some people thinking that you need to progress, you need to move clubs to be able to progress. That's Lewis Dunk being England international. So there's credit to him for going through the leagues as well.
I was going to say as well. Ali mentioned there about kind of players coming in, Belieber and people like this, but you just mentioned there about Donkey obviously still being there. Matoma's still there. I'm sure club would have taken him. Over the last few years, João Pedro's still there. She come in. Minter's obviously playing on the other side. So I just think they've picked and choose who they've sold, haven't they? Over the years, but then kept like a core of players who can make them better and improve them, and just the way they've done it, I just think it's been top.
Dion, on that midfield battle then, Belieber and Ayari are having a brilliant season. They look like two very, very talented young players. In Mainu and Ugarte, do you think Ruben Amorim is settled now on his first choice central midfield pair?
Possibly not. He's probably still dipping his toe in the water, but he's going to have to make a decision very soon, Steve. I think the problem United will have today is Mitoma and Minter. I think they're going to be the problems. They will not refuse to put the ball into dangerous areas. If Danny Welbeck's not there, João Pedro will be there. And that little sort of combination that João Pedro and Danny Welbeck have as well. João Pedro will end up in the number 9 position. Danny will end up in the 10 position on the odd occasion. So I think it's about United being incredibly concentrated defensively, especially when the ball's in the wide areas, because Brighton do not refuse to cross it.
I wonder if, because Ruben Amorim took Ugarte and Mainu off, one at half-time, one just after half-time the other night, and he basically said they were lacking a little bit of enthusiasm. Sometimes when a manager criticises a player, they're trying to criticise them. Other times they're trying to give them a bit of a rocket. I wonder, Phil, the fact that this is the 4th time in a row that they're starting together, despite what he said about them the other day, that might tell us something about what he thinks about this too and going forward, because this followed that game when he played Casemiro and Eriksen together against Newcastle, which obviously went terribly.
Yeah, I think he realises this is probably his best options at the moment, because I don't think they're going to bring anyone in this, obviously, transfer window, so he's going to stick with them, and maybe that was a little bit of a reminder that your place isn't secure. Liven up.
Phil, Nedum, Connor, thank you all very much indeed. Great stuff. Connor Cody, Nedum Manua, Phil Jagielka with us here on 5 Live Sport. Remember, full commentary available at Everton versus Tottenham at 2 on 5 Sports Extra. Nottingham Forest versus Southampton is available for you on the BBC Sport website and app. Ipswich versus Manchester City coming your way at 4:30. But I think we are ready now for the wonderful and powerful tribute that we'll get to Dennis Law ahead of Manchester United versus Brighton with Dion Dublin and Ali Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Steve. Welcome to Old Trafford on a grey, chilly afternoon. The strains of the bagpipes you can hear. The lone piper, clad in tartan, marches out on his own onto the Old Trafford pitch, slowly followed by the 2 sets of players. Away to our left, in front of the Stretford end, where the banner that really catches the eye is Dennis Law's. Dennis Law, the king of the Stretford end, and it is a slow, solemn march made by both sets of players. Manchester United in the red tops, Brighton in the blue and white stripes. The Manchester United fans, the Brighton fans, you can hear on their feet applauding and singing the Flower of Scotland too, as Manchester United bids farewell to one of its most famous sons, one of its favourite sons, one of its greatest, but one of the greatest players in the game. And as you can hear, the fans have actually drowned out the piper here at Old Trafford. He has stopped in his tracks, and the players slowly march past him and towards the halfway line. Bruno Fernandes, the Manchester United captain, with a simple wreath in his left hand, adorned with white and red flowers, the colours of Manchester United, in the very arena where the great Dennis Law dazzled and delighted Manchester United fans for 11 years. A European Footballer of the Year. He scored 46 goals in just 42 games back in 1964, but it wasn't just about the goal scoring with Dennis Law. As everyone has been telling us, as my summariser this afternoon, Dion Dublin, has been telling us, it was about the measure of the man, the character, the charisma. He scored goals with style, and he scored them with a smile. And that is why these Manchester United players, these Brighton players today, and every time you step out in this footballing arena, you are in the footsteps of legends, none more so than the great Dennis Law. And very shortly we'll see another Manchester United great, Sir Alex Ferguson, his back turned to us at the moment, with another wreath in his hands, contemporary of Dennis Law, great friend of Dennis Law, huge admirer of Dennis Law, like everyone inside this stadium. And he, along with Brian Kidd, Paddy Crerand and Alex Stepney, members of that famous 1968 European Cup winning team, in their dark coats and smart shoes, will march onto the field as we get the announcement inside the stadium.
Brian Kidd and Alex Stepney, and of course, your great friend, Sir Alex Ferguson.
The stadium erupts with noise as four Manchester United greats, Brian Kidd, Paddy Crerand, Alex Stepney, they take the lead. Sir Alex Ferguson just behind them, purposely striding across the halfway line with the wreath in his hand, taking centre stage, but actually not really. Centre stage belongs to Dennis Law this afternoon.
To Dennis, which will be followed immediately by a period of applause.
A tribute to Dennis Law.
A warrior born on Scotland's land, who rose to rule with a master's hand. The Stretford End, his loyal throne, where Dennis Law made greatness known. The lawman struck with poise and grace, a predator's instinct, the perfect pace. With every goal, the terraces sang, his name on their lips, the anthem rang. A flick, a volley, a header supreme. Dennis turned football into a dream. The king of Old Trafford, fierce and true, in ready sword, the world he slew. Yet beyond the goals, the man stood tall, a heart of gold that inspired all. Though trophies shone, his pride was clear. For the fans, he played year after year. Now time has passed, but memories stay. The legend of Law won't fade away. For every chant, for every friend, he's still the king of the Stretford End.
Well, I think they'd keep applauding for 90 minutes if they could. Referee Peter Banks blows his whistle and says we've got to get on with today's football. Not a dry eye in the house. Alex Ferguson, actually a nice smile played across his lips as the poem was read out about Dennis Law. They're singing his name. Just saw a lovely moment there as well, Dion Dublin. Danny Welbeck, he'll also know all about Dennis Law, how important he is to this football club. Back here today in the colours of Brighton, and Sir Alex Ferguson, previously his manager, they went over, they shared an embrace, just like Dennis Law would have done. You said he loved a hug.
Yeah, he did. He loved the physical contact. He always wanted to say hello, shook your hand, looked you in the eye as he did it as well. Lots of respect either way. But yes, a little bit of respect there from the gaffer and Danny Welbeck.
The air is thick with emotion, and a long conversation ongoing here between the current Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim and the great Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson in his red scarf, and they're still yakking away here, and it's almost as if Peter Banks is waiting and saying, look, I'm going to let them finish and then we'll get the game.
He was like a little child, wasn't he, Ruben Amorim, listening in for a teacher.
We are underway. This is the modern Manchester United. Manchester United at home against Brighton in the Premier League this afternoon. Two other games kicking off at 2 o'clock in the Premier League. We'll keep you updated on those. Everton-Tottenham getting underway at Goodison Park. Commentary on that game is over on Sports Extra. Nottingham Forest, Southampton, you can listen to in full via the BBC Sport website. So we've got Manchester United in the famous red and white colours. Red shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops. And they are defending the goal away to our left in this first half, in front of the Stretford end. They are starting to build play down the right. Amorim has made 3 changes to this Manchester United team today after their harem-scarem late win against Southampton on Thursday. I'll run you through the two teams in just a second. Manchester United keeping the ball, knocking it around inside their own half at the moment. Full-time whistle has blown at Ellen Road, though, in the Championship. Mike Maine.
Yeah, finished Leeds 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Manor Solomon 4 minutes in. Ramazani made it 2 minutes from time, and in stoppage time, Ayo Tanaka backheeled in a third from a shot that came initially from the edge of the box. Not sure how much he knew about it from close range. He won't care. Leeds won't care. 3 goals to Leeds, 3 points, and a 3-point gap to those in the playoffs now. Leeds 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Manchester United starting this game 13th place in the Premier League, 5 points behind their opponents Brighton, who've got a very good record against them recently. Brighton have a throw-in inside their own half on the right. Joel Veltman takes it. It's headed away here at the back by Lenny Yoro, who starts in Manchester United's 3-man defence this afternoon. Harry Maguire has come in for Lisandro Martinez. Manchester United have got caught playing out. Joao Pedro half volleys across into the near post. Anana blocks. Danny Welbeck was challenging, and it's actually gone behind for a goal kick. So thoughts from Dion Dublin in a second. Let me get you through the two teams. Harry Maguire in for Lisandro Martinez. Diogo Dalot back from suspension. Alejandro Garnacho drops out, and Amad Diallo pushes forward, and Joshua Zirkzee starts as the main man up front. Rasmus Højlund is on the bench. Andre Onana in goal. Yoro, Delict, Maguire, the 3 centre-backs. Mazraoui and Dalot, the wing-backs. Ugarte and Mainu in central midfield. Amad Diallo and the captain Bruno Fernandes in support of Zirkzee, who's getting an early touch here. He's knocked to the floor. He can't keep the ball for Manchester United, and Brighton have it. And Brighton are going to be an extremely tough nut to crack, Dion
Yes,
Dublin.
they will be. They're very well organised, and as we've seen already, Dalot just taking too much time in that left-back spot, and he's being closed down by Joao Pedro and getting a bit of a ricochet, and he's got to be careful because they will not stop running all game, Brighton.
Van Hecker plays the ball into the feet of Joao Pedro, who's got number 9 on his back, but starts this game sort of in the number 10 role because former Manchester United man Danny Welbeck is back. Lewis Dunk returns to the defence. He's in place of Adam Webster. Yankuba Minte starts this game. Simon Adingra drops out of the team. He's on the bench. And Matt O'Reilly not involved today. Danny Welbeck starts in his place. Kaoru Mitoma, Japanese international, holds off Mazraoui. Good stretch and first touch from Welbeck to keep the move going for Brighton. Ayari floats a pass to Veltman, driving forward for Brighton down the inside right channel. Dummies across with his left foot and plays back to the Dutch centre-back Van Hecker. Not the best pass from him to Lewis Dunk. Lewis Dunk says thank you very much. Turns, has to go scurrying back to the halfway line. Plays it forward to Estupinian, who was sort of half-tripped by Mazraoui, trod on his heels there. Estupinian kept his feet and it's back with the goalkeeper Verbruggen. Got to be careful there. Oh, it's a poor clearance. Mainu blocks it, and Brighton get lucky because it falls to Lewis Dunk, and Van Hecker takes it off him. Bart Verbruggen in goal for Brighton. Veltman, Van Hecker, Dunk and Estupinian the back four. Belieber and Ayari, the two 21-year-olds in central midfield. That is Belieber's ball forward. It's caught Manchester United out. Here's Mitoma, slides it across, and Minte has scored for Brighton. Just over 4 minutes played at Old Trafford, and the Manchester United fans are stunned. A simple ball from the back had Mitoma racing away. He was unselfish, played it across the face of goal, and Yankuba Minte slides it home. It's Manchester United 0, Brighton 1.
That's a goal. That is a very clever goal. That's a researched goal. It looked so simple, but the movement from Mitoma was absolutely outstanding. It's a crossfield ball from the centre half. I think it might have been Veltman. It's a right to left ball. Mitoma goes like he's going to go to feet, and he takes 2 steps forward, and then he gets in behind Mazraoui. So clever. It's a lovely ball in, and he's in on goal. His first touch is brilliant, outside of his boot, and then he lifts his head. He thinks, right, who's in a better position? What a finish. Minter comes in at the far post, taps it in. That's an awful start for United, and it's a lapse in concentration.
Andre Onana has saved Manchester United so many times this season. Certainly not favourite to save that. I think he might have got a hand, or certainly fingers to it. Couldn't keep it out. Minte was worried for a second because you shouldn't really be missing from there. Mitoma's put it on a plate. He puts it too close.
Absolutely.
To Onana, doesn't he?
Actually hits his heel.
Wow.
Minte hits his heel. He puts it towards the centre of the goal. He doesn't want to do that. And Onana gets something on it, but it's just not good enough for United.
So Manchester United rocked early on. Dalot attacking down the left, dribbling into the penalty area. Mainu on the ball to Fernandes. Clever 1-2. Belieber steps in for Brighton. United have it back. Xerxes trying to hold on to it on the edge of the box. Brighton get bodies in there. Tackles flying in, and eventually a foul is conceded. Welbeck was back there doing some defending. He was caught, and that is going to be a free kick to Brighton. Games in the WSL this afternoon as well. 2 o'clock kickoff between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. There's been a goal, Katie Smith.
And it's gone to the home side. Arsenal 1, Palace 0. So a perfect start for the Arsenal after the winter break. Perfect start for new permanent boss Renee Slagers, and a perfect start for the England captain Leah Williamson, tapping in from a corner on the right-hand side. Arsenal 1, Palace 0.
Tottenham leading Leicester by 1-0 in the WSL. That game kicked off at 12:30, so well into the second half there. Highlights of all the WSL action on the women's football show tonight, which follows Match of the Day 2, 10:30 BBC 1. Mainu in a tight spot, an attacking position though. He's tackled, thought he'd won a corner there. So did the whole of Old Trafford, and then referee Peter Banks says no, that's going to be a goal kick. And you heard the reaction from the Manchester United fans, and you just never know where you are with Manchester United, and there's so long left in this game. But you think about recent results. Got themselves out of jail on Thursday against Southampton. Great cup win at Arsenal, down to 10 men, won it on penalties. Fabulous performance at Anfield. Turn up here at home against Brighton. That should have been a corner, by the way. And they're a goal down within 5 minutes.
Yeah, they are, and it's Brighton have done nothing special so far apart from play a very good ball in.
Oh, they're coming
to
again.
Space.
Using that space on the left, Estupinian just couldn't quite take the ball in his stride and keep going down the left. They want to throw. Sorry, dear.
Yeah, I believe that United want Mazraoui to go high, and they want him to get into attacking situations, that they'll leave themselves in a 3. They won't mind being with De Ligt and Maguire and Yoro. This is where they're getting in.
Yeah, Lewis Dunk searching ball. Mitoma's first time cross. The flag goes up this time for an offside. I did wonder, we didn't get a sort of VAR look at it from the goal. I did wonder how tight that call was, Dion, for the goal where Mitoma gets away down the left, but he was away and clear from Mazraoui and created the goal.
You know what? I just believe it's his run. He starts with his heel on the line in front of the technical areas, and he runs straight across the pitch, and then he bends his run to the left in behind Mazraoui. Mazraoui has no answer to the pace, and it's a lovely ball as well in his path.
Harry Maguire's back in the Manchester United team. That is an unceremonious right-footed clump downfield. Not enough on the back pass, nearly to Verbruggen. Manchester United fans thought Xerxes was going to get there. Verbruggen reacts. He's all in green away to our right. Clears the ball with his right foot. The rest of his Brighton teammates in those blue and white vertical stripes, blue shorts with a little bit of yellow down each side, and the bright white socks. They've won 5 of their last 6 Premier League games against Manchester United. Did the double over them under Roberto De Zerbi in 22-23, and have won on their last 2 visits to Old Trafford. So they got the sign on Manchester United in recent times. Here's Maguire on the ball for the home team, coming up to 9 minutes played. We'll check in at Goodison Park and the City Ground shortly. Here's Maguire again. Welbeck close by, little 1-2 with Mainu. Back to Maguire, floated pass to the right. Mazraoui chests it down, scuttles infield. The pass forward intercepted by Estupiñán. Mitoma nearly away down the left again. De Ligt steps in and wins it. Amad Diallo, the hero on Thursday, thought he was dragged back, no free kick. Danny Welbeck on the charge, run off it by Mainu, nearly lost that. Bruno Fernandes can't control it. And it's high pace and a little bit scruffy at times so far in the first 10 minutes of this game. Manchester United 0, Brighton 1.
Yeah, nobody's really taken charge of this game. Yes, they're 1 up Brighton, but they keep giving the ball away in the middle of the park. I think it's down to the pressure Man United are putting them under, and vice versa as well. I'm just looking at the back 3 at the moment of Manchester United. They're moving the ball too slowly. It gives Brighton to get set with the press.
Onana was trying to let that ball run into the penalty area. Didn't have enough on it, had to clear. Minte was closing him down. This time Amad Diallo does win the free kick just inside the Brighton half. He's fouled, and he's got time to do his shoelace up as well. His hat-trick on Thursday, getting the win against Southampton. The change in that game in the second half was changes effected by the manager, and Amad Diallo, who'd started as the right wing-back, moved further forward into the position he started in today, and eventually they had some joy. Goal at the City Ground. Chris Coles.
It's not taken long. Nottingham Forest 1, Southampton 0. Elliot Anderson with the goal from the edge of the Southampton penalty area. Broke to him nicely, head down, charged towards the penalty area, finished into the bottom corner. Forest 1, Southampton 0.
De Ligt's ball forward for Manchester United. Xerxes running the inside right channel, gets to it first. Van Hecker is right beside him, and then Estupiñán is back, wins the ball for Brighton. Xerxes stretches out a leg, gets it for Manchester United. No free kick, cross into the near post, and Fernandes tried one of those flicks, those backheel flicks behind his body. It's cleared away. Oh, Estupiñán caught that time by Mazraoui. He went to volley the ball away. Mazraoui, I think, kicked Estupiñán. He's gone down in a heap. Manchester United fans not happy, but the assistant referee was right on top of it and has given that decision. So we've had a goal at the City Ground. We've also now had a goal at Goodison Park. Julia Bold.
It's Everton 1, Tottenham 0. Everton are bossing this game so far, and the goal scorer, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, has sent Goodison into raptures. It is Everton 1, Tottenham 0.
First goal in a number of games for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Big game for both teams. David Moyes, second game in charge of Everton. Full commentary over on Sports Extra. So Everton 1, Tottenham 0. Forest 1, Southampton 0. Manchester United 0, Brighton 1. Full commentary of Ipswich against Manchester City to come at 4:30 this afternoon. That was one of the things that struck me outside, actually, Dion, was the Manchester City shirt that was lying there in front of the statue of Dennis Law, Sir Bobby Charlton and George Best, and the fact that, you know, on a day like today, and because Dennis Law played for both clubs, it's allowed to be there today. Here come Manchester United. Fernandes' ball into the path of Dalot. Amad making the run ahead of him. Challenge from Minte. Dallow's down. No free kick. Looked like the tackle came in from behind, and again you can hear the Manchester United fans incensed.
I think that's a free kick. I think he's off his feet there. Belieber getting back. Dallow's on his way.
Oh, Mazraoui too slow. Welbeck nips in, takes the ball off him. Welbeck running from right to left inside the Manchester United half. Here's the goal scorer, Minte. Corner of the penalty area. Slight deflection on the pass, and Nana comes scrambling across the 6-yard box and keeps that ball in play. I'd like to see a replay of the challenge, Dion. I thought that should have been a free kick.
Yeah, first instinct is in real time that it was a free kick, sort of a tackle from behind as well. We're having a look at it. Dalot goes, he just got a chop inside. He gets the ball on the man. He gets the ball on the man, he gets the ball with his right foot, he gets the man with his left foot. But he's off his feet, that's the only thing. He's off his feet.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Dalot has almost slightly overrun it and left the ball behind him, which allows Minte in on the side to get a full foot on the ball. But you're right, then there's a collision and he's in the air. So Manchester United felt they should have had the free kick. They are a goal behind. Yankuba Minte the goal scorer in the 5th minute of this game, and Brighton have themselves a throw on the right. Inside their own half, ball is lofted forward into the Manchester United half. No danger for Manchester United there. Maguire gets onto it, keeps the ball at his feet, walking pace inside his own half. Nottingham Forest 1 up on Southampton, win that game. They're on 44 points, level with Arsenal, and 6 points behind Liverpool, who've played a game fewer than the pair of them. Mazraoui controls the diagonal pass, feeds it infield to Ahmad. Back it comes to Ugarte. Kobe Mainoo has a word with him as Ugarte plays the pass to the 19-year-old Yoro. Punchy pass from Bruno Fernandes, back to Yoro, into the feet of Mainoo. He's got the long sleeve shirt, the black gloves, white shorts, black socks in the Manchester United kit. Dennis Law, of course, used to play in the long sleeves as well, with the cuffs over the hands. That was a real Dennis Law trademark, which you can see on that statue outside Old Trafford, with his arm raised in celebration and finger pointing in the air. Estupiñán is back, wins a header, nods it out of play for a Manchester United throw. Coming up to 15 minutes played in the first half, and Ahmad and Mazraoui nearly make a mess of that. A couple of step overs from Ahmad. Infield to Mainoo. Ayari just didn't let him alone for a second there. Mainoo was under pressure, and Manchester United have had to come back to their goalkeeper, Dion.
Yeah, they're getting so far at the moment. United and Brighton are in such a good shape with players behind the ball, and they're waiting for that one trigger to go and squeeze. If that one trigger doesn't go, they stay in their shape. So United finding it difficult at the moment to play their way through the belated press, I should say.
Driven ball forward from Bruno Fernandes. You could see the idea. Ahmad was on the diagonal run. It just had too much on it.
Absolutely. It's literally opposite the dugouts on the halfway line. He tried to play the ball with a bit of sort of what I would call Virginia Wade, a bit of fade into the path of Zirkzee. Didn't quite get the fade on it, but it was the right kind of pass.
Do you know what? You've just reminded me there, because I love my golf as well, Dion, and I tend to play with a bit of right to left, and I call that Dennis Law. I've just thought of that.
There you go then.
Dennis Law draw.
Dennis Law draw. Virginia Wade fade.
I never knew the Virginia
Wade. You can have that.
Yeah, I'll have that. Thank you very much. Manchester United 0, Brighton 1. Danny Welbeck from deep. Ugarte snaps into a challenge. Ball comes off the legs of Estupiñán. Goes out for a throw into Manchester United in an attacking position on the right. 2 games in the Scottish Cup, 4th round this afternoon. Falkirk Wraith, the all-championship tie, has gone into extra time. That is 1-1. And Rangers against Fraserburgh has just got underway. Rangers up against the team, Fraserburgh, from the Highland League. Here's Dallow on the left. Pass Minte, speeding towards the box. Lays it back. Ugarte, one touch, hits the shot. Closed down by Ayari. It comes back to Bruno Fernandes. Couple of touches from him. Right-footed pass across to De Ligt. De Ligt strokes the ball to Mazraoui. Pokes it past Mitoma. Ahmad under pressure from Estupiñán. Holds him off. Estupiñán ends up on the ground. Mazraoui infield to Mainoo. Edge of the Brighton penalty area. Back to Ahmad again. He is so full of confidence, this lad, at the moment. Again, another trick. Great ball. Mazraoui with the cutback. Zirkzee leaves it. Fernandes scuffs it. It's wide of the target and behind for a goal kick. But everything Ahmad does, Dion Dublin, has sparkle and magic about it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. He's teasing the defender at the moment. Estupiñán not quite sure whether to dive in or to stand up. And he's picking the right pass. He's doing a few what we call lollipops over the ball, leg over, right leg over, passes it through his legs, and it's a lovely little tee up. Actually, Zirkzee gets there first, but Bruno gives him a shout and he doesn't quite catch it.
Manchester United fans furious here that Brighton taking so long over the restart. Dunk plays the ball to Verbruggen, who really waited for Zirkzee to get close to him before playing it back to Dunk. Dunk brings it upfield, just outside his own penalty area. Mitoma tries to lay it off into the Brighton midfield. United win it back. Here's Ugarte. Socks halfway up his shins. Short pass to Mainoo. Cross to Mazraoui. Manchester United behind. Stadium is not buzzing at the moment. There's a sense of frustration inside the ground. Ruben Amorim's 15th game in charge. Here's Mainoo trying to take the ball down to the byline. Followed there by Baliba. Manages to hold him off. Back it comes to Dallow. Then Yoro. Manchester United playing this back to the halfway line. Harry Maguire took his eye off the ball. It rolled under his right boot. He then finds De Ligt across to Ahmad. Ahmad is 10 yards inside the Brighton half. Doesn't want to take Estupiñán on from there. Stays wide and plays the ball back to De Ligt.
I think one of the things that Brighton would have looked at, they know how high Mazraoui wants to go. He wants to go and play with Ahmad down the right-hand side. and Matoma's just staying in the space that Mazraoui is leaving, so they do have that as an outlet all the time. Matoma on that left-hand side.
Bruno Fernandes is down, holding his chest. Might have been bumped off the ball there. Picks himself up and is sort of shaking out that right arm. That looks a little bit sore. Referee didn't see anything wrong or didn't spot it. Play continues. Ahmad on the ball on the left. This is inside the Brighton half. Brighton, who've only lost 4 games so far this season. It's only Liverpool and Arsenal who've lost fewer. And they're ahead here at Old Trafford, and they're going for 3 consecutive Premier League wins at Old Trafford as well. Yoro playing the ball back to Maguire. Amorim, the Manchester United boss, waving his right arm in frustration. Bruno Fernandes gets on the ball. On the left, midway inside the Brighton half. 1-2 with Xerxes. Fernandes looking for Ahmad. Challenge on him inside the penalty area. Xerxes tries to get to the loose ball. Ahmad is still down. Brighton trying to dribble it out from the back. Here comes to De Ligt. Oh, his left-footed pass hits Mainu. Wasn't intended for Mainu. And that falls for Welbeck, who plays it out here to Matoma, who's suddenly gone speeding into the Manchester United half. Doesn't see much on ahead of him, so slows it down. And we'll have another look when we can at the challenge on Ahmad as he was getting ready to shoot in the box. It might have been Belieber who made it. And again, Manchester United fans were up, feeling there could have been a potential penalty.
Yeah, not sure about that one. Would need to see it again in real time. I think
Verbruggen's giving it away. Xerxes with a chance. Oh, that's a drag down. No. Referee says yes. Penalty for Manchester United. I thought he was going to give it immediately. Bart Verbruggen plays Brighton into trouble. Manchester United worked the ball to Xerxes. He was trying to get the ball from right foot to left foot to shoot, and as he did so, he had his collar dragged. It took him to the floor, and for a second I thought Peter Banks wasn't going to give it. Let's see what he decides in terms of the decision for the card here. Manchester United fans chanting off, 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 feeling there wasn't a genuine attempt to play the ball from Belieber. Dion will have a look here, and at the moment we're just waiting for the penalty, and we're waiting to see what Peter Banks is going to decide the punishment should be for Carlos Belieber, who definitely makes contact with Xerxes. He puts an arm around his neck, and Xerxes goes tumbling to the floor. Yellow card.
Yeah, it's a yellow card. It's listen, I'm going back to my days. It's a soft one, but under the laws of the game now, that is definitely a free kick. It's in the box, so it's a penalty. I think it's right for it to be a yellow as well. I don't think it's a red card offence, but yes. There was one before that, they could have had a penalty. This one was definitely a penalty as well. Yeah, Xerxes getting pulled round the throat area by Belieber.
I guess, Dion, you've got 2 choices as the defender there. I mean, he hadn't taken the best first touch, so either just let him get on with it and see if he can score, but obviously you're trying to do everything to prevent that. But as soon as you make contact there, it is risky. And as soon as he felt the contact, and it was fairly heavy contact, but around the neck, and not enough to knock him off his feet, but as soon as he felt it, he's gone down.
Just try and challenge the ball. Forget the player. Try and challenge the ball. That's what you should be doing.
Right, Bruno Fernandes ready for Manchester United. They trail Brighton by 1-0. Has scored a couple of penalties this season against Chelsea and Manchester City. The responsibility is all his. He's up against the Dutch number 1, Bart Verbruggen, who's just leapt in the air and clattered the crossbar twice with both palms. There blows the whistle. Bruno Fernandes is happy to take his time, staring at the match ball. Here he comes and scores. Bart Verbruggen dives to his left. Bruno Fernandes rolls it down the middle, thumps the ball away in celebration. The Manchester United captain is fired up. In fact, so fired up, he goes to find a replacement ball and smashes that off the cone as well. But he's got them level. It's Manchester United 1, Brighton 1.
Yeah, it's a good pen. Never in doubt the confidence levels of this man. Very, very high. Taking the responsibility for his side as well. He doesn't do the skip. Takes about 4 steps back. There's a hesitation of the skip, but he doesn't quite do it. He has a look up. It's enough to make the keeper move, and he puts it in the opposite corner. Very confident, great pen.
Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Everton leading Tottenham by 1-0. Commentary over on Sports Extra. Nottingham Forest leading Southampton by 1-0. You can listen to that game in full on the BBC Sport website. Leeds have beaten Sheffield Wednesday by 3-0 in the Championship. Wraith Rovers 2-1 up at Falkirk in the Scottish Cup. And WSL games underway as well as Mazraoui plays the ball back to his goalkeeper, Onana. Clever from Onana, little dummy there, then slides the ball back straight up the pitch to Mazraoui. Into the feet of De Ligt in the WSL. In added time at Tottenham 1, Leicester 0. and Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. That game, like this one, kicked off at 2 o'clock. Full commentary of Ipswich, Manchester City to follow. John Murray is there, Dion. He's really excited about a first trip to Portman Road. He's not been for a long time, and I know he's looking forward to it. Here's Bruno Fernandes running through the heart of the Brighton midfield. Outside of his foot, looks for Ugarte. Joao Pedro is back there and makes a challenge, wins the ball. Here's Belieber, who's a strong runner with the ball at his feet. Mainu is tracking him inside the Brighton half, and Belieber plays back here to Lewis Dunk. So game on.
Yeah, it is game on. I mean, Belieber doesn't mind the ball at his feet, by the way, in dangerous areas as well. He's trying to dictate the play for Brighton in that midfield, and Bruno's trying to do the same for United. So who's going to grab this game by the scruff of the neck? Well, equally, they both have at the moment.
Mitoma plays back to Dunk. Lewis Dunk, who is making his 476th appearance.
Wow.
For Brighton.
That's
I know.
outstanding.
Do you know what? I know it's outstanding, deal. We were talking about him before the game. The club record is held by a fella called Ernie Tug Wilson, and Lewis Dunk is closing in on Tug. Mazraoui plays the ball back to Onana, who falls to the floor as he clears with his right foot. There is Dunk. Estupiñán controls his pass, but now he's got his back to goal, tries a trick, De Ligt challenges him, and it goes out for a throw. Yeah, Ernie Tug Wilson, 509 appearances for Brighton between 1922 and 1936. So Lewis Dunk is not that far away.
I didn't play against Tuggy, did I? as he would have been known.
Not
Tuggy.
quite, yeah. Yeah, I didn't find out enough about him other than his name and his number of appearances. I need to know more about Ernie Tug Wilson. On the day, of course, that we are remembering the great Dennis Law, great goal scorer, of course, for Manchester United and Scotland as well, remains Scotland's record goal scorer. 30 goals in just 55 caps. Kenny Dalglish also has 30 goals for his country. Brighton are attacking down the right. Here's Minte, going to try and run past Maguire. Maguire just sees him to the byline and then shepherds the ball out of play, and it goes behind for a goal kick. The other thing I know you strikers like to do, Dion, I was actually looking at goals per game ratio. So Dennis Law's goals per game ratio is actually better than the two strikers above him for Manchester United who've scored more goals, Wayne Rooney and Sir Bobby Charlton. But the best for Manchester United, Tommy Taylor, who was one of the players we very sadly lost in the Munich air crash, has the best goals per game ratio for any Manchester United player ever. In terms of, you have to have scored enough goals to be on that list.
Absolutely, yeah. And I would imagine as well it's some list.
Some
list of quality footballers. Wow.
Yeah, and Ruud van Nistelrooy's goals per game ratio, absolutely outstanding for Manchester United as well, and really enjoyed hearing the conversation between him and Pat Murphy in Sports Report yesterday. Pat asking him about his memories of Dennis Law, and Ruud van Nistelrooy talking about the time he ended up around Dennis Law's house with a cup of tea, talking about the art of goal scoring. I could just picture it, and I absolutely loved it. Nottingham Forest flying this season. Chris Coles.
1-0, but Southampton's response has been good, dominating possession as they tend to do, and Forest tend to allow, and they're getting themselves into some decent positions to equalise. Forest 1, Southampton 0.
Southampton bottom of the table on 6 points. Nottingham Forest win takes them to 44 points. Commentary on the BBC Sport website. Game is back underway here at Old Trafford. So we've got 20 minutes remaining in the first half. Brighton taking the early lead through Minte. Bruno Fernandes equalising from the penalty spot. Mazraoui leaps high to win a header, nods it out of play. Brighton throw in the left-back position. 2 balls on the field. Estupiñán gets rid of one of them. Waits to take the throw with the other. Did you go to the darts this year, Dion? I know you like your darts.
This is the first time in 10 years I haven't been to the darts.
I've just spotted Luke Littler, Manchester United fan, of course, is here at Old Trafford. Oh, first time in 10 years he'd not been. Here's Ugarte. Ball bounces off Xerxes. Joao Pedro clipped by Xerxes. He apologises for the foul, and Brighton are going to get the free kick. Want to take it quickly, but they can't do that. So how come just didn't work out this year?
No time. No, I was probably working too hard for the BBC, to be honest with you.
Another goal at the City Ground. Here's another man who works very hard for the BBC, Chris Coles.
And isn't this just classic Forest on the back foot, but double their advantage in the blink of an eye. Callum Hudson-Odoi, edge of the penalty area, right foot curler into the corner. Forest 2, Southampton 0.
Wow, what a season. What a season Nottingham Forest are having. Estupiñán's been caught here. Ugarte, definite foul. Estupiñán swerved infield. Ugarte got there late, has brought him down. And that is a free kick. And Estupiñán, I think, holding his leg, might have been winded as well. Landed really heavily on the floor there.
Yeah, I think it was, he just dropped his right shoulder, went to his left, and Ugarte bought the dummy and they sort of clashed shins. His standing foot clashed shins with Ugarte, but he's up on his feet now. Just a great bit of football, that.
Top 4 finish possible for not. I mean, it's obviously possible.
Yes,
of course,
yes,
it's possible. But
absolutely, yeah. Why
it's
not?
on, isn't it? It's on.
Yeah, it is, because when you have so much momentum and so much confidence, and the manager's setting you up in the right way for certain games, you just don't think it's never going to end. And when you've got muscle memory, which is a winning muscle memory, it seems to come quite easy to them at the moment.
Yeah. Free kick for Brighton. As soon as that's been taken, we're taking you to Goodison Park. I'm told there's been another goal there as well. This is Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. So in the 2 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League this afternoon, the goals are flying in. Here's Ayari with the free kick for Brighton into the edge of the box. Joao Pedro flicks it on. It's headed away by Dalot, and Manchester United have a chance to clear. So goal at Goodison, Julia Bold.
Yes, it is now Everton 2, Tottenham 0. Iliman Ndiaye went on a charging run from his own half, has doubled Everton's advantage. The good for it as well. Laurel Mangala and Dominic Calvert-Lewin could have also had goals. Right now, though, Everton 2, Tottenham 0.
I can already hear the calls to 6:06 in my head this evening. It will follow our commentary of Ipswich against Manchester City. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage taking the calls through until 8 o'clock on 5 Live tonight. Real trouble for Tottenham going into that one win in their last 9 Premier League games, and that win was at Southampton. Coming up to half an hour played here. Here's Ayari, 21-year-old Swede in the heart of the Brighton midfield. Caresses a pass back to Van Hecke. Van Hecke to Dunk. Manchester United just stand off Brighton here, so Dunk and Van Hecke, the 2 centre-backs, under no pressure, knock the ball between them. Joao Pedro drops deep, runs onto it, lays it off to Veltman on his right. Veltman's pass half blocked by Xerxes, and Veltman accidentally caught Xerxes there, so he's struggling a little bit as the ball comes back to Verbruggen. Bruno Fernandes comes herring in for Manchester United to put the pressure on. Verbruggen floats the ball out to Estupiñán. Back it comes to Dunk. Swings a left boot at it up towards Welbeck. Difficult one for him to try and control. Couple of challenges come in on him, but he's managed to get it to Ayari. Back to Welbeck, into the feet of Belieber, who suddenly sets off, charging through the middle of the field. Plays his pass out to Minte. Perfect first touch from the winger. Slides it to Joao Pedro. Great build-up by Brighton here. Joao Pedro then turns, comes back to Veltman, across to Belieber, 30 yards out, and now Dunk in a central position. 35 yards from goal for Brighton. Manchester United 1. Brighton 1, and Manchester United. Xerxes still hobbling a little here, have everyone behind the ball. Mitoma has moved infield, pops up in space, lays it off to Dunk. Out it comes to Estupiñán. Back to Dunk. Dunk to Van Hecke. And Van Hecke again, just at jogging pace inside the Manchester United half, looking right and left, forward to Mitoma. Quick pass, nearly found Ayari with the first time layoff. Manchester United have it back with Mazraoui. And then Brighton start to chase the ball, and De Ligt gives it to Onana. That wasn't the friendliest ball back to the keeper. He was under pressure from Welbeck. All he can do is knock it out for a throw.
Yeah, go forward. De Ligt's got to go forward there. Ahmad actually made a run in behind Dunk. All he had to do is put it into a space, and Ahmad would have done him for pace. Going back to the keeper, you've got to remember the keeper's not an outfield player. As good as you might be, you can't pass the ball to a keeper like you pass to a normal player.
Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Dion Dublin with us at Old Trafford this afternoon. Dunk drives the diagonal ball. Minte is onto it. Can he keep it in play? Down by the byline on the right, he can. Looking for teammates. Joao Pedro just nudges Bruno Fernandes off the ball. Has it wide on the right. Runs away from Bruno Fernandes. Still on the dribble, the Brazilian. Into the penalty area. Twisting and turning. Eventually tumbles forward. No foul on him. And it's cleared by Dalot up towards Xerxes. He's got quite a lot to do here, surrounded by Brighton players. Holds onto it for Manchester United. Has done really well there to keep it, find a teammate. Vision from Bruno Fernandes, sees Mazraoui. Not quite enough on the pass to be able to get him away. Mazraoui still has it. Finds Amad Diallo, who has been the match winner recently for Manchester United. Can he do it again? Looks for the cutback from the byline, and it goes behind. He thinks for a corner, but no, it's a goal kick. What about Arsenal Crystal Palace in the WSL? Katie Smith has the latest.
Yeah, Arsenal leading 1-0 against the bottom club Crystal Palace, thanks to a goal first of the season for Leah Williamson. Arsenal dominating completely. They've had over 80% possession through this first half hour. Lacking a bit of end product, though. They really should be a couple more goals ahead. Arsenal 1, Palace 0.
Just looking to see if it's full time now at Tottenham. It is. Tottenham 1, Leicester 0. And as Katie was saying, Arsenal leading Crystal Palace by a goal to 0. Full commentary actually on the Manchester derby in the WSL this evening at 6:45 on Sports Extra. And then after that finishes, they're going to pick up with the NFL. Do you like the NFL, Dion? I can't remember.
Yeah, I do. I don't mind the NFL. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it, but I think
Okay.
it's great to watch. It's a great spectacle to watch.
So every Sunday night it's NFL action. We're into the divisional playoff round. Tonight we've got Rams at the Eagles. after that Manchester derby is finished in the WSL. Incredible win for the Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions.
I'm more than happy to accept tickets for the Super Bowl, though. More than happy.
If I get some, Dion?
Thank you very much.
You might be the first to know.
Might be.
12 minutes remaining in the first half. Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Yoro inside the Brighton half, forward pass to Mainu, out it goes to the left to Bruno Fernandes, back it comes to the halfway line. Harry Maguire, the middle of the three centre-backs, so Yoro on the left, De Ligt on the right, Maguire in the middle, De Ligt under a bit of pressure, low ball inside his own half to Mazraoui, knocks it past Estupiñán, can't quite get past him, then tries to play it infield, Estupiñán blocks it, Mitoma tackled, and it goes out for a throw-in to Brighton. Scottish Cup action, Rangers against Fraserburgh. Kenny Crawford.
19 minutes gone, Ali. It's Rangers 0, Fraserburgh 0, and I think we need to applaud the Highland League side for getting to almost the 20-minute mark unscathed. Just one moment of concern so far. It came after 30 seconds. Ross McCausland's shot for Rangers, low shot, saved well by Joe Barber in the Fraserburgh goal. Rangers 0, Fraserburgh 0.
Verbruggen, Brighton's goalkeeper, plays the ball out to the right. Little dummy from Veltman. He's hassled and harried by Fernandes for Manchester United. So we've got just over 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Deadlock at the moment, 1-1. Brighton scored early. Manchester United equalising with the penalty. Veltman's ball downfield towards Minte. He's been a real threat for Brighton on the right. Welbeck picks up the loose ball. Back it comes to Belieber. Cross to Estupiñán, who can't control it. Mitoma comes hurrying back, keeps it in play, and Ahmad took it off Estupiñán, but the ball ran away and went out for a throw to Brighton inside their own half on the left. Dion Dublin.
Yeah, just choosing the right times when to try and go with a bit of pace, Manchester United, and they're leaving it to the central third of the pitch. They don't want to squeeze high up at the moment because Brighton have got the quality to play around them, so they're biding their time.
Danny Welbeck, was he pushed over by De Ligt? He was. Free kick Brighton, middle of the field. De Ligt complains. Welbeck shrugs and says, well, it's a foul, so we'll take the free kick, thank you very much. Doesn't mind scoring goals against his former club. Has been away from Manchester United for quite a while. Has scored 6 goals against Manchester United in his time. 3 for Arsenal, 3 for Brighton. Scored here in a 3-1 win in the Premier League last season. 4 goals at Old Trafford against Manchester United for a former Manchester United player. And I remember one in an FA Cup quarter-final back in 2015 that Brighton won by 2 goals to 1. He's not punished them himself yet today, but it is 1-1. Here's Ayari. Back to Dunk. Brighton very confident as always. Ball at their feet. Mitoma was starting to make that run down the left. Dunk decided not to release it. Here he is still on the ball inside his own half. Prods it to his left to Estupiñán. Forward to João Pedro. First time left to Mitoma. Mazraoui intercepts. Then suddenly Ayari releases Estupiñán. And the offside flag stays down for now. Driven cross is blocked. The ball spins loose. Edge of the Manchester United area. Welbeck's in there. Does well to bring that under control. Now tries to get away from Mazraoui. Low cross into the near post. Anana was going to pick that up. Maguire obviously didn't hear him because he's standing right in front of him, put a foot on it, and has knocked it out for a throw to Brighton.
I mean, if Harry Maguire's cleared that 2 or 3 yards from the near post with Anana right behind him, no blue and white shirt near him, he mustn't have got a shout.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd leave that for the keeper. If you don't get any shout at all, but you know the keeper's there and there's no shout, you clear it.
And it's not so loud in here today, Dion, that you wouldn't hear it. He was so close to him there, wasn't he?
You should be able to hear a loud shout.
Yeah. Xerxes running with the ball, chased by Belieber. Gets it away to Dalot on his own inside the Brighton half. Minte is back there, jumps in on another challenge, cleanly takes the ball. Van Hecker plays it back to Verbruggen. 8 minutes remaining in the first half. 5 live in BBC Sounds. Everton leading Tottenham 2-0. Nottingham Forest leading Southampton 2-0. And it's Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. And now it's Estupiñán bringing it forward for Brighton. Just ran out of gas slightly there. Laid it off to Mitoma and said, you take it over. Mitoma drops the shoulder, tries to move in field. Ahmad makes the challenge. Mitoma's back at him. Ahmad knocks it into him. And the ball goes out for a throw into Manchester United in the right back position.
Yeah, it's even at the moment. Both sides giving the ball away loosely. In good areas as well, when you've got that little bit of concentration. If you get the right pass, you could be in, but they're just picking the wrong pass, or should I say picking the right pass, but can't quite execute it at the moment. Brighton are loving this left-hand side, by the way. Manchester United's right. I think they've definitely targeted Mazraoui down this left-hand side.
Sir Alex Ferguson was in long conversation with Ruben Amorim before the game. The latest close-up shot we have of him, just looking slightly distracted. Not entirely entertained by the football at the moment. Manchester United have lost it. So Van Hecker has it on the halfway line. Right-footed pass with pace to Ayari. He's got space in front of him, running at Manchester United defenders up to the edge of the box. Here's Joao Pedro, trying to slide it back to Ayari, but Ayari, his momentum actually took him into Maguire, who's down her United free kick.
Yeah, he just lost control of it. Ayari there, just coming towards the D, running at pace. He'd beat 2 red shirts, got to Maguire. He'd got it past Maguire, but he was out of control. His body was out of control, and I think he just ran into Maguire with his studs there. If
you had a choice this week, Dion, European footballer going to Monaco or Paris, where do you think where would you go?
I'd be going to Monaco.
Would you?
Yes.
But in Monaco, I can see you in Monaco.
Can you see me in Monaco?
I can. Yeah.
I've been there once. I went to the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
It was outstanding.
Well, 5 Live will be there on Tuesday for Monaco against Aston Villa in the Champions League. Kicks off at 5:45. We'll also be here on Thursday night for Manchester United against Rangers in the Europa League. Acrobatic interception by Veltman there to cut out a diagonal ball from right to left for Manchester United. Verbruggen clears with his right foot. Dalot has it just inside the Brighton half. And Manchester United with Ugarte. He sees Ahmad through the middle. Here's Ahmad one-on-one. Takes it round, tight angle. Verbruggen gets a hand on that. It comes back to Ahmad. Still plenty to do. Lays it back to the edge of the box. Finds Mainu. And then the flag goes up. Offside flag goes up. So play stops and Brighton will get a free kick. Where was the offside, though? Was it right at the start there from Ahmad and the goal wouldn't have counted? Or did it come after that? We'll have to have a look, Dion.
Yeah, we'll see some pictures in a minute in the screens in front of us, but I'm pretty sure it's Ahmad, the very first pass. Let's have a look. The ball's there, Bruno's feet, and Ahmad is just off a yard off there. I mean, to be honest with you, he should have put the ball in the back of the net and then made the linesman make a decision, but sloppy finishing though from Ahmad, to be honest. He's been on fire as well.
Yeah, he doesn't mind it from a tight angle though, does he? Remember the goal he scored against Manchester City, the winner in...
Yeah, but when you have a lot of the goal to shoot at, take a lot of the goal rather than a little of the goal.
Another goal at the City ground, Chris Coles.
It's that man again, goal number 14 of the season for Chris Wood, and this is a classic Wood goal. Cross from the right-hand side, Wood loses his man, delicate header into the bottom corner. What a season he and Nottingham Forest are having. 3-0 they lead against Southampton.
Commentary continues on the BBC Sport website. Everton leading Tottenham by 2-0 at Goodison Park. All of those games approaching half-time, like this one. Joao Pedro's ball into Danny Welbeck, well inside the Manchester United half. Back to Joao Pedro, slightly overhit that back into his own half, but Van Hecker is able to collect.
Yeah, there's definite understanding between Welbeck and Joao Pedro, just switching. It's really hard for De Ligt and Harry Maguire. They don't know who they're up against. They don't know if they show them on the left or right because they keep switching. Their movement's very, very good. They're secure with the ball at their feet as well, both of them. So it's a difficult one at the moment for that sort of back three that United are playing.
4 minutes remaining in the first half. That's the voice of Dion Dublin here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Lewis Dunk looking pace just inside the United half. 1-2 with Joao Pedro. Here's Dunk again. Joao Pedro this time opens his body up, plays it to Estupinian. Brazilian involved again, Joao Pedro. A little shoulder shake, tries to wriggle away from De Ligt, and then a theatrical fall as he was gently pushed in the back, shall we say, by De Ligt, and looks a little aghast that he hasn't won the free kick. Manchester United fans telling him to get to his feet. They take the throw, and De Ligt plays it to Maguire.
Is that how you translate it? Get to your feet.
Get to your feet. Something like that.
That's what they were saying.
Roughly, I think. Scottish Cup goal at Rangers. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, Fraserborough's resistance is broken. It's Rangers 1, Fraserburgh 0. James Tavernier's corner, and Cyril Dessers, the Belgian-born Nigeria international, with a header into the bottom left-hand corner. Rangers 1, Fraserburgh 0.
Bruno Fernandes, attempted pass has gone astray. Here's Minte for Brighton playing the ball to Welbeck, gets it down, shots deflected, and De Ligt's there just in time to clear it away. Strong challenge on him by Minte, who was purely looking at getting the ball there to try and knock the rebound into the back of the net. Really important intervention by De Ligt.
Yeah, really good work. I think it was De Ligt and it was Dalot as well. I've got to say, Dalot is on his way because he thinks Bruno Fernandes is going to get control of this ball. It goes in behind Yoro and Dallow's out of position, but he has to really work hard to get back in. He realises there's a problem and he works really hard to get back in. He follows Danny Welbeck into the space, blocks the initial shot, and then De Ligt clears it. It's a really good bit of defending from Dalot.
Yeah, important for Manchester United just before half-time. They keep the game at 1-1. Mazraoui and Ahmad in conversation as they wait for Onana to take the goal kick, who's in purple colours, with flashes of green on the goalkeeping uniform for Manchester United away to our left. Harry Maguire high header forward, falls at the feet of Xerxes, tries to turn a pass infield, that's blocked, and goes out actually for a throw into Manchester United.
Yeah, I think there's just...
To Brighton, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, just watching Xerxes here, he's trying to do all the right things. He's just not getting it right at the moment, but he's working really hard. One thing he will have to do is, when he does get the ball under control, is move it quicker and don't allow defenders to get too close. 5
wins in the last 6 Premier League games against Manchester United for Brighton. Here's Mitoma on the left, curling cross into the area. Yoro heads it away on the half volley. Veltman pushes a pass to his right. Minte's got Bruno Fernandes and Dalot for company there. He's going to try and beat the pair of them on the outside. Overruns it and it goes behind for the goal kick, and he hoofs a replacement ball away in frustration. So yes, European football commentaries coming your way this week. Monaco Villa in the Champions League, 5:45 on Tuesday, followed by Liverpool against Lille. I think I'm right in saying Liverpool only need a point to guarantee finishing in the top 8 of that Champions League table. Then we're in Paris on Wednesday night for Paris Saint-Germain against Manchester City, and we're here Thursday night for the big one, Manchester United against Rangers. Latest from Goodison Park comes from Julia Bowl.
Yes, it is still Everton 2, Tottenham 0. You join us as Spurs' Radu Dragusin is just having some treatment. He's been down for quite a while. He's got a cut across the top of his left eye. We've already got 7 minutes additional time, but we're going to have much more right now. Everton 2, Tottenham 0.
Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Last minute of the first half, then a bit of added time. Matoma's backpedaling and heading the ball away. Ahmad runs onto it, runs at Matoma, beats him easily. Matoma drags him back. Got to be a free kick. Is a free kick. Wide on the right for Manchester United late in the first half.
Ahmad's on a different level at the moment. I mean, I don't know where his thought process is, but it doesn't matter who he's playing against. There's 2 blue and white shirts in front of him. He's just happy to take them both off. Even though he's got an easy pass to Mazraoui, his confidence levels are incredible, and he's getting it right all the time at the moment.
Hat-trick against Southampton on Thursday night. Got the equaliser against Liverpool at Anfield. Winner in the Manchester derby earlier in the season. FA Cup winner against Liverpool here in that dramatic tie last season. He's a man for the big moment. This game's 1-1. This is a moment at the end of the first half. Bruno Fernandes is waiting to take the free kick directly in front of us here as we look out from the Sir Bobby Charlton stand. Fernandes holds his right arm in the air, runs at the ball, swings it in. Maguire's header down, free header, drifts wide of the far post, and then the offside flag goes up. And everyone in the stadium was looking at each other thinking, how could he be onside? He wasn't onside.
And I don't think he was the only one who was offside. Harry Maguire, De Ligt, I think they were all offside there. I think they did really well there, Brighton. They really stayed in their line for a very, very long time. Yeah, a couple of players there who made shirts offside.
So free kick for Brighton. Verbruggen complaining about Xerxes and something he's done just before Verbruggen takes the free kick. Let's check in quickly in the WSL. Arsenal Palace half-time. Katie Smith.
Yeah, Arsenal 1, Palace 0. Ali, first game since Renee Slagers has taken permanent charge. So far, so good. Went ahead early on through Williamson's tap-in from a corner. She's looked great. Arsenal have looked great, hungry, creative, just not really getting their shots away at the end. It's Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Belieber's ball forward down the right. Lovely first touch from Minte. 25 yards out, low shot, got it wrong, but the ball falls to Joao Pedro, tries to work it onto the right foot for a shot. He's down in the penalty area, play continues. Minte tried to find a pass, cleared by Manchester United, headed forward by Van Heghe. Joao Pedro is still down in some pain inside that Manchester United penalty area away to our left, and the ball is hooked out by Dalot for a Brighton throw, and the game will stop. And Manchester United defenders, well, I was going to say, Dion, I've gone over to check if he's okay. Not sure sort of how sincere the feelings are there. It looks to me actually like he has been caught in a rather painful area, judging by how he's rolling around and what part of his body he's holding. Should we let's put it like that.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it, actually. Yeah, I think it's a hip into the centre of the body, should we say that?
Centre of the body,
yes. And he's holding an area which makes it look like he wants to go to the toilet.
Yeah, correct.
How's that?
Well described.
Thank you very much.
2 minutes of added time are almost up. Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Just saw the two managers having a minor disagreement on the touchline about something. Both of them in their 30s as well, which makes you feel incredibly old. Herzl at 31, Ruben Amorim doesn't turn 40 until later this month. The half-time whistle blows. Amorim's hair is still jet black, but being manager of Manchester United, that won't last too long, Dion Dublin. What do we make of that first half? Brighton got the early lead through Minte. Manchester United back into it through the Bruno Fernandes penalty.
I think it's about right at the moment, the scoreline. Brighton started incredibly fast. Man United just switched off just for a second. Mazraoui switched off for a second. Well worked goal by Brighton, but Man United felt their way back into the game. Bruno Fernandes came into it. Kobe Mainoo came into it as well by starting to get the ball at his feet and play some great balls and to very good areas and getting the ball to Ahmad. I think that's the key for Man United.
Emotional afternoon at Old Trafford. Special moments before the game. The football after that has not been totally uplifting. The game is in the balance at half-time, though. It's Manchester United 1, Brighton 1.
Thank you very much, both. So second half commentary to come from Old Trafford here on 5 Live. On the BBC Sport website and app, you can listen to Nottingham Forest versus Southampton. Half-time, Chris Coles.
3-0 Nottingham Forest, a typical Forest half. Not seeing much of the ball, allowing Southampton all of the possession, defending deep. 3 chances created, 3 goals, all taken superbly. Elliot Anderson's first for the club, crisp drive, beating Aaron Ramsdale for pace. Callum Hudson-Odoi capitalising on a Jan Bednarek error to bend into the corner. And Chris Wood's customary goal, number 14 of the season, glancing header into the corner. It's turning into another miserable afternoon for Southampton, who did play some decent stuff at 0-1. But barring a dramatic turnaround, it's going to be a 19th defeat of the season, and Forest are heading level on points with Arsenal in second. Nottingham Forest 3, Southampton 0.
It'll be another few minutes before we get half-time at Goodison because of that injury to Radu Dragusin, but it's still Everton 2, Tottenham 0. Earlier in the Championship, Leeds went back to the top after a 3-0 victory over Sheffield Wednesday in the Women's Super League. It finished Tottenham 1, Leicester 0, and it's a live score at half-time. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. Scottish Cup, Falkirk 1, Wraith 2 after extra time, and Rangers leading 5th tier Fraserburgh by a 0 on 35 minutes. We'll take our first trip to Portman Road shortly. Ipswich Town versus Manchester City. Full commentary at 4:30 on Premier League Sunday. Now let's get the news with Alison Hughes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The long-awaited ceasefire in Gaza came into force just before 9 a.m. UK time after a last-minute delay caused, according to the Israelis, by Hamas failing to release the names of the 3 female hostages due to be released on time. During that delay this morning, Israel continued to carry out strikes on Gaza, killing 19 more people, according to the Hamas-run Civil Defence Agency. This current conflict began on the 7th of October 2023, when Hamas attacked Israel, killing some 1,200 people and taking 251 hostage. That triggered a massive Israeli offence on Gaza, during which more than 46,800 people have been killed, according to the Hamas-run Civil Defence Agency. Today is the start of the first of 3 stages of ceasefire. During this 6 weeks, Hamas has agreed to release 33 Israeli hostages, with hundreds of Palestinians being released in exchange. In the past few minutes, what appears to be an Israeli Air Force IAF helicopter has been seen landing in southern Israel, not far from the Gaza border. The IAF also says on X its helicopters are preparing for the process to receive the soon-to-be-freed women. Reports suggest Red Cross teams are arriving in Gaza to collect them. Medical staff at the Sheba Medical Centre on the outskirts of Tel Aviv are preparing to receive the first 3 hostages released under the terms of that ceasefire agreement. 90 Palestinians will be released in exchange. Our correspondent Jonah Fisher is at the hospital near Tel Aviv where they'll be taken.
We're at Sheba Medical Centre on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. It's one of the biggest hospitals in the Middle East. We're expecting them to fly here by helicopter to land here and then be taken probably inside, out of view of the public, and they will be receiving medical attention. It's very possible that some of these hostages have injuries. There were reports that 2 of them had received gunshot injuries when they were taken on October the 7th.
James Elder from UNICEF says people from Gaza are desperate for this to work long term.
I've been on the
public, and they will be receiving medical attention. It's very possible that some of these hostages have injuries. There were reports that 2 of them had received gunshot injuries when they were taken on October the 7th.
James Elder from UNICEF says people from Gaza are desperate for this to work long term.
Tottenham Hotspur, maybe more pertinently, so is the Spurs chairman Daniel Levy. What is he witnessing, Julia Bold?
Yes, he is witnessing Everton 3, Tottenham 0 at the break, and despite the fact that Spurs have had 62% possession so far, they have done nothing with it. In fact, the only side that continuously looks like scoring is Tottenham. It started on 13 minutes for Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin got Goodison rocking with his first goal of David Moyes' second reign in charge. It was right foot. He beat 4 Spurs players to find the back of the net. Then 30 minutes in, Iliman Ndiaye, who has been running riot today against Tottenham, charging run from his own half, smashing the ball into the top of the net. And then, just to make it worse for Spurs, own goal, Archie Gray, pressure from Tarkowski, and Calvert-Lewin again saw him put the ball into the back of the net. Postecoglou looks absolutely stunned and out of ideas at the minute, because it could probably be 5 or 6 for Everton, but at half time it is Everton 3, Tottenham 0.
In the Scottish Cup, sounds like Fraserburgh giving a really good account of themselves at Ibrox. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, I really admire it.
The ball into the back of the net. Postecoglou looks absolutely stunned and out of ideas.
In the Scottish Cup, sounds like Fraserburgh giving a really good account of themselves at Ibrox. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, I really admire their effort. Steve, it's Rangers 1, Fraserburgh 0 after 42 minutes. The goal in the 27th minute from Cyril Dessers, his 14th of the season, a header into the bottom corner from James Tavernier's corner kick. Since then, Yefte, the Brazilian left back for Rangers, has hit the foot of the post, and James Tavernier, the captain, has hit the top of the bar from outside the box. But on 40 minutes, Ibrox held its breath as Mason Munn, the Rangers goalkeeper making his first team debut, aged 18, gifted possession to Scott Barber, the Fraserburgh striker, just inside the box, and his shot went narrowly wide of the post. So it's still Rangers 1, Fraserburgh 0.
In the other game in the Scottish Cup this afternoon, finished Falkirk 1, Raith Rovers 2 after extra time. That one was an all-championship tie. In the Women's Super League, it finished earlier Spurs 1, Leicester 0. In the next minute, we'll be underway in West Ham Chelsea. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, West Ham have never beaten Chelsea in 12 attempts during the WSL era, and if they manage to upset the form book this afternoon, it would not only give them some breathing space in a 5-team relegation battle, it would also ignite life into the title race. Chelsea's pre-Christmas performances have set a red-hot pace, and Manchester City and Arsenal, they need help to stop the Chelsea juggernaut.
Yeah, Arsenal leading Crystal Palace by 1-0 at the moment at half-time. That would take Arsenal above Manchester City into second place, but still 4 points behind Chelsea. Chelsea have a game in hand. Palace, the league's bottom team, just one win from their 10 matches so far, a point below Leicester City. There's also the Manchester Derby at 6:45. Let's go back to the Masters Snooker final. Jamie Broughton.
And we're watching the 2015 champion Sean Murphy take on the current world champion Karen Wilson. And it was Murphy who made a fast start. He took the opening 2 frames with breaks of 94 and 47, the highlight. Wilson then claimed the next with a 69 break to reduce the arrears to 2-1, and he also then had a great chance to take frame 4, but he missed the red while on a break of 61, and Murphy stepped in to win it on the black with a brilliant break of 61 to lead 3-1. Murphy has just won frame 5 as well to go 4-1 up. Wilson is back at the table in this frame 6. He needs to take it to stay in touch. 10 is the target to be crowned Masters champion.
Let's hear from the British number 1 tennis player, Jack Draper, who's out of the Australian Open. He had to retire with a hip injury during his 4th round match against Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, obviously really difficult, especially in such a big match against Carlos on one of the biggest stages in the sport. It's been a long week for me. I've had a lot of on-court time, and I've put my body through so much, considering sort of not much preparation and managing a hip injury. And I think it was just, a little bit too much today, and I have to make smart decisions moving forward if I want to be able to, keep consistently playing on the tour this year.
That's Jack Draper, and that means there are no British players, men or women, left in the singles draw. Alcaraz will face Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinals. The 4th round continues overnight. Commentary on 5 Sports Extra tomorrow with tennis breakfast from 7 a.m. Iga Swiatek and Alex de Minaur amongst those in action. In golf, England's Tyrrell Hatton edged out New Zealand's Daniel Hillier to win the Dubai Desert Classic by 1 shot. Hatton finishing 15 under at the end of the tour.
Precarious position, about building those little runs. Now they've got to take stock again. They've got to go, right, okay, let's restart. We've got a big game against Manchester City, and now we've got to make sure that we get something out of this game. Be difficult to beat. I thought they were just too easy to beat against Brighton on Thursday night.
Couple of good centre-forward stories for you this afternoon, John. Not just Liam Delap against his old club, but Erling Haaland for the first time since that contract and that letter.
Yes, that's right. They've put Liam Delap on the front page of the programme for this match, so I guess the hope will be that inspires him against his old club. And Haaland, remember, right at the start of the season, Manchester City's first home match of the season, Ipswich were the visitors. They took an early lead through Smodix, which turned out to be the only attempt that they had on goal, and who scored?
Two players in white and blue. This time United attacking the Stretford end right to left, Brighton attacking left to right in the second half. Yari will take, slips as he takes it, still a good delivery though, still in the area, bobbling around, might fall for João Pedro, who puts it in the back of the net, shouts from Onana for a possible foul in the build-up, but it looks like the Brazilian has got the goal to give Brighton their lead back. Messy free kick, it was a missed kick from Yari, still into a dangerous area. United almost fell asleep for a second, I thought, but a lovely finish from João Pedro.
Yeah, great work from him. I think he puts it through Onana's legs. I think it'll be looked at though, whether there is a foul in the build-up in the box. The ball comes in, like I say, he's miskicked it and slipped as he's hit it. It's gone in, and then Welbeck's kicked it. I'm just working out where the foul is, really. It might be Van Heckel, I think, on Ugarte. We'll just have a look here. Oh, it's on Dalot. I mean, Dalot goes to clear it and gets it wrong, and I don't really think it's a foul, unfortunately, for Manchester United. And yeah, Pedro does well, keeps it hard and low through Onana's legs, while Dalot is still on the ground, it must be said. You'd like Onana to do better with the save, but Man United screaming for a foul, and it simply isn't, is it?
No, well, when we watched it for the first time, we saw what had happened. Delor's still down. We haven't seen an indication of VAR either. I don't think it'll be overturned anyway. Onana's still having words with the referee. Credit as well to João Pedro, as you said. Really good finish from the Brazilian. Onana, it's one of them, he comes out and makes himself big, but then also there's this gaping hole in between his out and more. It's still a massive frame to beat. Just watching it back now. Again, there's no hint of offside. We're actually getting a VAR review now. Watching it back, Delor gets the ball first, and then Van Heckel going for...
Turn it, Peter. But, yeah, I kind of agree. So Delot has won the ball. I mean, Van Heckel, the only reason... There is an argument to say the only reason Delot's clearance falls to Pedro is because kicked his foot onto it. And there's definitely an argument to say that Delot's clearance would be a lot better because Van Heckel kicking him changes the direction of Delot's foot and then the clearance. I actually think that it would be fair to overturn. I do agree with what you're saying there, Lewis, that Delot's clearance was poor and it falls to Pedro anyway, and therefore the foul on Delot doesn't affect play following that. But I think Van Heckel doesn't get the ball, he kicks his man, it's as simple as that. And by Van Heckel's, yep, it will be overturned, so it remains 1-1 at Old Trafford. And I think it's unlucky for Brighton, but ultimately I think Man United, how you're conceding from a miss it free kick anyway is shocking.
I think the defending's poor. What I will say again is, again, it's one of them where the more you watch it in VAR and in slow motion, of course the worse it looks. So I can understand as well from that point of view. But if I'm Ruben Amorim, I'm saying, look, yeah, it's a foul, but boys, defensively, yes, it's a foul, and rightfully it's been overturned. But all of you stopped and attacked your hands up, asking for a free kick. When Harry Maguire put his hand in the air, stopped his play, I think Xerxes did the same. You had 2 or 3 Manchester United defenders just stopping play, as we said at half-time, speaking to one of our colleagues, one of the best things and worst things about VAR is you can almost just go, right, if something's wrong, you can overturn it. You can look at the monitor. If you don't think it's a foul, you can say no and then go be overturned and have a look at it. If I'm Harry Maguire, I'm continuing play and then asking the ref, whoa, my teammate's been booted there, that should be a foul. Because if he doesn't give it, Harry Maguire, your biggest defender, has stopped himself from defending because he wants that free kick that badly. You can almost just, after the play, go, whoa, ref, why is that not given? You can hold yourself accountable for a second.
Indeed. But Man United have arguably got away with one there. I mean, that feels awful. Into them missed the ball. Man United defenders were sleeping. Ball over the top now, though, for Ayari, I think it is.
Stroke of the old man, they have the ball in the back of the net. Can't see any reason this was disallowed. Maybe the shot was offside. They'll have to see that. I don't think it was. But the ball that had the lead back around 5 minutes ago, it looks like they do now.
Yeah, it's not great defending from Manchester United. It was a bit too easy for Minter to pick up the ball. It's another medium-range pass over the top of the defenders. Not fantastic, not good for Man United at all. Ayari, like I say, playing a sort of a medium, probably a short ball even into the box for Minter. It's too easy for Minter to play that ball past Dalot. It's not good defending from him to play it, to allow Minter to play the ball over the top. Good deceptive run from João Pedro to bring Dalot away originally. But that's the thing with 5 at the back. Dalot shouldn't need to think about the run of João Pedro. There's 3 centre halves in there, one of which is Maguire, who was watching that run. I think it's poor defending from Dalot, and you'd probably like Maguire to do a bit better at the back stick, although he does seem to have hurt himself for his troubles.
Watching it back, it's also that you speak about the wing back.
BBC Radio 5 Live. Unfortunately, due to rights restrictions,
his midsection, that I just look at it and goes, Mitoma's got there first. Mazraoui, he doesn't put a boot out or anything. I think the Moroccan could do a little bit better, but Mitoma has done very well to get on the end of that, and Brighton do have their lead restored. Just watching it back, Mitoma well onside, and that was my only question, that he might have just been offside in the build-up from the Nacho joining the front three. Mazraoui, as Kieran said earlier, and Delo can play either on the left-hand side. It's not a real difference maker, so one of them I assume will come off and the other will go to the left-hand side. But here come United with Menu. Quickly looking at the bench for the Seagulls, it's Steele, Lamptey, Webster, McConville, March, Enciso, Adingra, Rutter, Gomez. Quite an attack-heavy bench for the Seagulls. And Garnacho on Thursday, I think he had a good game but a frustrating game to a degree. Not really all his fault, I would probably say. Some of the things that just didn't go for him are just some of the things that don't go for him. But when you have one of those nights, I think when you're linked with the move he's linked with, he doesn't add and help to it. But I think him coming on maybe on that left or right hand side and Diallo and Matt's a right wing back will be a bonus. Here comes the left wing back in Delo into the area. It's on an overlapping run, but he brings it further inside into Fernandez on the edge of the area. He looks to stab one into the back post, gets it all wrong, unfortunately. Really good idea. Unfortunately, the execution was poor from the United skipper there. But as we've said, Amad Diallo's best position is at right wing back. Garnacho maybe comes on. That's a real high flying right hand side. I think it's a real positive and attacking change that at the minimum needs to be made.
Yeah, I think a change does need to be made. For Manchester United, it's Collier coming on though, interestingly. Just confirm who, yeah, for Mainu and Agate off, which happened also Thursday night, didn't it? Both of them came off around half time or just after. Garnacho and Collier on. So Fernandez is going to drop deep again, and Garnacho will go on the left hand side, which is supporting Xerxes, and Fernandez and Collier in the middle, which is exactly how it looked by the end of play Thursday night in the middle for the Red Devils.
I won't say I'm shocked about that one. I just thought from an attacking point of view, Mazraoui or Delo would have come off and put Amad in his more favoured position. So it's, as you say, two very pacey forwards in Amad Diallo and Garnacho.
So a good corner really in terms of putting the keeper of Verbruggen under pressure, but not great if you wanted to find a Manchester United head.
No, and as you said, spot on, we just saw a stat there. That is the first corner of the game. First corner for United as well. And straight away, they get a second one as well. From the same side, so it will be an in-swinger from Fernandez. Just quickly, Forest took a 4-1 lead and VR have ruled it out. Right again, right on the goalkeeper. Delict tries to keep it alive. Still in the penalty area now. Brighton do clear their lines, looking for Mitoma, and counter-attack could be on here for the Seagulls. Trying to push them back with Mitoma. In the box, we've got Minter. Really good trap back in there. Is that Amad Diallo, I want to say yes it is, and I think that just even looks at it and go, right, a right wing back, you've got to do a lot of defending. I think Diallo's just proven there that he's more than enough up to the challenge of doing his defensive work and that dirty work. And again, I just think he's a better, in this system. I think he suits playing there than he plays as a number 10. I think he's got a bit more freedom as a wing back, and if anything, if you're playing a more defensive wing back in Mazraoui or Delo anyway on the other side, probably gives him a bit more license to go forward, and you can off skew the formation a little bit. Instead, remains how it is, because if you look at Mazraoui right now, I'm looking at it, he's almost, unless there's been a tweak of formation here, I will say, there's a possibility that's happened, but don't think it has. Delo and Mazraoui are just so deep, they don't really offer anything on the width, and so unless Garnacho and Diallo have gone a little bit further wide, we'll have to see. The Argentine Garnacho's on the ball now, taking down the left-hand side. Again, he's a 2-on-1 almost. He's claiming a penalty. That's never a penalty. That was just a shoulder-to-shoulder. But once again, when I think of a side that has wing-backs, Garnacho would have had a wing-back supporting him, which was, if you cut inside, you've almost lost a player because of the overlap. But he had almost a 2-on. If he beats his defender, he's still got another one to beat. Yeah,
that's the problem, isn't it? With being a wing-back or playing at wing-back, you've always got to think about the attacking player behind you and the defensive players in front of you. But yeah, it did look for a moment like there was a change of formation potentially. Maybe gone 4-back of Man United. Not sure which centre-half would have moved forward, though. Dalot now got some defending to do against Minter. Does a good job. Goes out for Brighton's first corner of the game, though.
Oh, so again, it's Mazraoui and Dalot. I think as full-backs, I think they're absolutely excellent. As wing-backs, I just think they're a bit too defensive-minded. So playing both of them, he's an awkward fit. I know Amorim can't just, out of the blue, go and get an attacking wing-back, but again, I think that's where Amad Diallo could come in, and then the other side, you're only playing one defensive wing-back, and that maybe could help you. They are going to make a substitute themselves, Brighton. Looks like Solly March is going to come on, as well as is that possibly Jorginho Rutter.
I think it's for Minter as well.
Yes, looking like it. Well,
Welbeck.
Welbeck, possibly Welbeck and Minter will be coming off, but Welbeck's had a good game. And number 17 as well is on the board, so Kieran was spot on. Minter's coming off. He's on a yellow card as well. He's had a great game. He's got a goal and an assist. Well, I mean, Minter and Matoma have assisted each other for both their goals. So it's Danny Welbeck coming off, and along with Minter, Solly March will be coming on to the field, and Jorginho Rutter, the former Leeds United man, will be coming on. So I can't imagine the United fans at Old Trafford will be giving him that much of a round of applause, but he comes on. So him and João Pedro, they're not both, neither of them are out and out number 9s. Obviously they can play there, but it's almost that the one will drop and one will go. They'll probably have a bit of a decent chemistry of how to play that by now, won't they?
Yeah, definitely. Certainly will. And it seemed like Pedro and Welbeck had sort of gone as a 2 up front anyway, with Pedro just dipping in behind slightly. So I'm sure Rutter will probably do the same, but the corner comes in.
Solly March with the in-swinger. Poor from him for his standards, I will say, though. It was a decent area. I think it was just a good header, if I'm honest, away from Dillick. As far out from a throw-in. Himself and Maguire were in and around that area. I will say, though, we're approaching 70 minutes in. 3/4 of the game at Old Trafford are done and dusted. Halfway through the second half. It's independent off-tube studio commentary between Manchester United and Brighton. Brighton took the lead early on, a penalty from Fernandes, but has won a piece. And then around 10 minutes or so ago, a lovely ball to the back sticks from Minter was put in at the back post by Kaoru Mitoma, and that gives Brighton a 2-1 lead. To take us through to the full-time whistle, pass you over to Kieran.
Yeah, so a lot still to happen in this last 20 minutes of regular time, of course. So we'll see if Man United can make anything of it. As it stands, they are 1-0 down. They've got work to do, for sure. So Solly March to bring this corner in. It'll be an in-swinger from his left foot. Referee not happy with something that's going off inside the box, though, so he'll have to wait to do so. Just wondering if... can't see who's gone down there. It looks like it might be Van Heckel, gone down holding his left ankle. Not sure if he's just been stood on. Seems a bit strange for a player to go down holding their ankle in the box. Looks like there was a bit of handbags, bit of fisticuffs Maguire not happy with Van Heckel, and Xerxes trying to pull him up. He's back to his feet now. Not sure what the referee's told anyone really in terms of fouls or silliness inside the box. Just watching it back there. Yeah, Onana stands on Van Heckel's foot, but barely catches him. It's pretty poor, if I'm honest, from the Brighton centre half. I think he's probably a big boy and can take a little scratch or nip on his toe. So the corner will come in eventually. I'm sure this will be added to the stoppage time. We've been waiting a good minute or two for this corner to come in. Solimar's just lining up to whip it in again. Onana trying to claim a bit of space. Got João Pedro and Van Heckel on him. The ball does come in to the 6-yard area, headed away though confidently by Man United, back in by Ayari, out again by Maguire, then cleared confidently by Xerxes. Garnacho's going to try and pick it up, but it's picked up well by Baleba, who's trying to take on one too many, and a good tackle comes in from Collier. No, the referee says it's a foul. It looked like Collier had won the ball really, but the foul's been given. Baleba stayed down for a short while. See it back now. Baleba's trying to dribble around a few of them, and yeah, Baleba in the end, he kicks it far away, almost towards the left back position, and Collier does come in late, so it will be a foul to the Seagulls. Trying to bring it forward now on the left hand side through Estupiñán. Long ball forward from Dunk, and Rutter's managed to pick up the ball. Surely he was offside, which he was. He was in Haker's space. There was no way he was onside there.
Watching it there, very similar to the Amad Diallo chance in the first half, where it looked so offside, and at that time the linesman's flag was way up before. Didn't even take a strike at goal, which Diallo did try, but it's worrying about all the space. And as you say, it's more of a traditional 4-4-2, if you will, from Brighton now. The wingers are pressing and defending the wide areas, and then the block of two, if you will, the two forwards and two central midfielders just press high and defending the narrow middle parts of the pitch. That's a poor ball from Maguire looking for Euro. But United, I still think a few changes are needed, because Garnacho's come on and Collier's come on, but it hasn't really changed much, especially the momentum of the game. I still think Brighton are on top, and if you say who's likely to get another goal in this game, if there is, I'd probably go the Seagulls making it 3-1 than the Red Devils drawing it up at 2-2.
Does seem that way, but it looked that way until the 82nd on Thursday night against Southampton, and that man who made the difference, Amad Diallo's now up against Dunk inside the box, onto his left foot to Xerxes, who shoots off the head of Van Heckel. He's not gone down hurt this time, interestingly, in his own box. Ball cleared, but the header won by De Ligt. Diallo now on the right hand side, trying to keep this Man United attack alive. Down the line to Diallo. He's got a bit of space now, got two men doubled up on him though. And it was a good tackle from, I think, Baleba again, coming across and winning a goal kick following the tackle on Diallo. And it looks like might be heading off the pitch. Another substitution potentially for him. We did say it would probably be him to come off, but I think he's going to stay on for now. Just waiting for confirmation. Yeah, he's going to stay on the pitch for now. So Brighton going to try and pass out from the back. Just one shot on target for Man United in the game, which isn't really good enough. None from open play, only 5 attempts. It's not been a very exciting game full stop. Only 5 attempts for either team, 3 shots on target in total. So there's not actually been a shot on target for either side that's not led to a goal. You could argue, therefore, poor goalkeeping maybe on Onana's part, but I don't think he was really to blame for either of the finishers. Brighton coming down now the right hand side. Ayari trying to get a ball in. Onana is there to claim it, but he's dropped it, and a chance. And Lewis was right when he said it looked like it was going to be Brighton the most likely to score. They have done. It looked like Onana had collected the cross easily, but it was, he sort of flapped at it, didn't hold it, and Rutter was there to follow up and score.
He's been having a good season, Onana, after he came in last year, didn't he? And he had, unfortunately, quote-unquote, howlers for the Red Devils last season, and that will go definitely against him. And Rutter, I'm sure a few Leeds United fans will be happy that he scored at Old Trafford, the former Leedsman joining Brighton in the summer. And again, you just look at the home record for United now. They've lost, of course, against Bournemouth 3-0. They lost to Newcastle 2-0. Previously to that, they lost a few as well, and they look like they're losing against Southampton. It looks like they will lose, unfortunately, this afternoon. Now it would need a drastic comeback. It's poor from Onana. Looks like he's got it. I don't know if he just loses the ball as he's diving on the surface. He shouldn't do. We'll This is a great angle from behind the goal. As he goes down, he almost, instead of catching it, he parries it away. Doesn't it? It's very...
I think he's trying to catch it. It just catches. He thinks that the ball's probably rolling.
Yes.
And that he can just take it off, take it within the surface, but it sort of just bobbles up. It's still bouncing, just catches the side of his left hand and bounces away. The only thing I'm going to question now is De Ligt is watching that ball come across. He can see Onana taking it, yet decides to run towards the ball as if he's going to clear it anyway. I'm not trying to say that puts off Onana, because it shouldn't do. But why he's making that run and not just sort of standing off or even shielding Rutter from getting there is beyond me. I think a defender of his ability should probably know better there. It's not great from him, but you can't obviously take the blame away from the goalkeeper.
No, you can't. And again, just quickly looking back at United's home record from this season, 12 games, 5 wins, a draw, and this will currently be their 6th loss at home this season. And the last 5 games have 1-1, lost 3 in a row, then 1-1. That was Everton 4-0, and they lost 3 in a row at home, and then won. We were speaking earlier on, wasn't we? Maybe Thursday was a turning point at home, and Xerxes coming forward takes a tuck turn. I know we spoke about Amad Diallo got the hat-trick, what was it, around the 81st minute, I want to say?
82nd, he scored his first goal.
And then what, the 95th, even though the third one felt like a letting, if you will, for Southampton. So, look, there's previous, only, 3 days ago, that Manchester United can come back and get 3 goals in 10-15 minutes. But I don't think they will do that against a Brighton side this afternoon that look very confident. But I think they could get at least one back and make it interesting.
Yeah, Xerxes has been fouled 40 yards out by Dunk. Dunk is adamant he won the ball, but it looked like he went through the back of the Dutchman. So Man United now with a chance to make it an exciting last 15 minutes or so. Yeah, it's definitely a foul. I mean, he's probably looking not to get a yellow card. He pulls his shirt and kicks at the back of him. So Fernandes is going to loop this one into the back post by the looks of it with an in-swinger. There's Maguire, De Ligt, all interested parties at the back post. Also Dalot, but he's probably not going to win the header. Late run from Maguire, the ball's towards him, won by Van Heckel, cleared by Estupiñán. Another poor set piece from Man United, really. Collier's let it bounce, which was the wrong decision. Matoma's latched onto it now, counter-attack on for Brighton. Rutter's got it on the left-hand side. Really good defending from Amad Diallo to win it. He seems to have hurt himself a little bit, but he's back to his feet now. Man United will bring the ball away again with Bruno Fernandes, still only 15 or so yards off of their own penalty area. Diallo's got back to his feet and getting forward. Bruno Fernandes has picked it up just inside Brighton's half. Forward to Diallo on the right hand side. Back to Bruno Fernandes in a bit more of a commanding area where you want Fernandes on the ball. He's come inside now, but not really any forward options. Collier gone out wide to Diallo. He's got Dalot in support. Overlapping run from him is ignored. Comes inside to Bruno Fernandes. There's not really a lot of movement from Man United players. Dallow's going to think about the cross, doesn't. Fernandes will now, though. Looked like it was going to fall for Garnacho, but a strong header away from Dunk. Really good header from De Ligt to divert it to Dalot. He's won a throw-in. So Man United really could do with scoring in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Really is a chance, if they're going to have a chance even, to equalise. Overlapping ball to Diallo. He's tried to skip round. I think it was a Yari, but Yari shields it out in the end. Really, I think he's had a really good game, hasn't he, the midfielder for Brighton?
He has, and again, I think a lot of these Brighton players, I wouldn't look and say, probably Mintzer and Matoma, they're probably the 2 top players for the Seagulls, but apart from them, I wouldn't say there's anyone being incredible, but there's not anyone who I'd say they've been poor this afternoon. I think Baleba and Ayari have been excellent as well. When I say they've been 10 out of 10s, no, but I'll be pushing the good 8, 9s, 10s performances. And again, Manchester United, I think apart from, maybe look at the mistake there from Onana and De Ligt, that wasn't good. I wouldn't again say anyone has had an incredible game, but I won't say anyone's had a poor game. It's been a weird game to watch, hasn't it, really? I think Diallo's looked lively, Fernandes has played some good passes. I think the back three have looked a little bit awkward at times with each other, and again, I don't know if that's to do with they don't have a left-footed left centre-back. I think if that's the reason.
It's the first time those 3 have played together, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if that's something to look at. Maybe Amorim will look and go, right, maybe I shouldn't have done that against Brighton at home. That's a game maybe you go for the Europa League, just to play devil's advocate there. But still 10 minutes to go, but United haven't created anything at all in this game, it feels like. As you said, at least against Southampton when they were losing, they were creating chances and looked likely to score. They got 1, they got 2, they got 3. Whereas for the first 80 minutes, United was second best, but they still looked quite dangerous.
Yeah, indeed. Whereas in this half, not really the case. Long ball forward towards Garnacho. Never gonna find him. It's getting a little bit desperate for Man United now. Long ball from Maguire. Like I say, never really going to find Garnacho. Just wonder what Amorim will do from now with his bench. There isn't particularly many options where you think, oh yeah, that could change the game. I mean, Lisandro Martinez may be on for Yoro. He will drive the ball forward a little bit more. That wouldn't be an awful change. You could also think about maybe Anthony or Højlund for Xerxes or Diallo perhaps, or even Mazraoui, and drop Diallo to wing back. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. I'd maybe take Dallo off, put Mazraoui left wing back as he is at the moment actually, and then drop Diallo to right wing back and put Anthony on, as that seemed to work against Southampton. You might even think about Højlund for Xerxes. I think Xerxes had a good game, good build-up play, done really well to link everyone in. That's the difference, whereas Højlund will run in behind and stretch the defence, and that's probably what you need in these last few moments. So that's probably the changes I would make. Ericsson also came on and did really well. If he was going to come on, then it would push Fernandes further forward. But Dallo's got a chance in the box now to play it across. Really good defending from Matoma. So it'll only be a corner for Manchester United. That's more excellent defending, you have to say.
Again, it's Matoma getting back, isn't it? I think the problem that Manchester United have had is that Diallo's getting back as that attacking midfielder number 10. But unfortunately, that's the only one so far, isn't it? Whereas Minter and Matoma have got back, balls into the box, looking for United play, still bobbling around, shot. It's still deflecting everywhere. They clear the lines, and a foul's been given against United for Brighton. Quickly, Kulusevski's grabbed the goal for Spurs. It's 3-1 there. Elsewhere, Nottingham Forest still 3-1 up as well. Double change will come, as Kieran was just saying. Anthony and Højlund will be coming on for Mazraoui. I'm just waiting to see who's coming for Højlund. Expect it to be Xerxes. You just have to wait and see. I think that is number 11 coming off.
Yeah.
So again, I think you were spot on with what you said, and that's happened. I'm not surprised with the changes. Is it a little bit too late to a degree?
Well, it wasn't too late against Southampton around this time of the game, but Brighton's certainly a more assured defensive outfit than Southampton. It must be said with all due respect to the Saints. And Lamptey's going to come on for the Seagulls as well. You wonder if that's going to be for an attacking player, and they might even switch to a 5 at the back with perhaps Estupiñán slotting in at left centre half. But no, it looks like he's going to come off. So it'll be a straight swap at left back. Not particularly sure why. Maybe the idea is that with Anthony and Diallo now on the right hand side, you need a bit of fresh legs. I mean, Estupiñán's not particularly slow, but Lamptey has got a nice burst of pace, which you think Diallo and Anthony will try and use themselves. So Lamptey at left back. We can assume Diallo will go right wing back and Anthony will play as a right winger for the Red Devils. Dallo's gone over to left wing back. I probably again would have taken him off rather than Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui is probably just a bit more assured. Whereas Dallo is a little bit less consistent, particularly defensively. Referee has told Man United to retake this free kick they've got deep in their own half because it was a rolling ball. So they've retaken it short. Maguire bringing it away from his own box now. Playing a 1-2 with Collier. Out to Yoro. Yoro to Garnacho. Looking for a 1-2 with Dallo, but Dallo will go back inside to Collier. He's got a bit of space, but harried down by Matoma. That's a good tackle from him. Bruno Fernandes will pick it up now. Spread it wide. So De Ligt's bringing it forward. He ought to release it quickly. Diallo now in that right wing-back position. Harried by Lamptey. He should probably go back inside. Instead, he's gone back to De Ligt. And De Ligt passing it now into Collier. Collier trying to find Bruno Fernandes, which he has done nicely. A lot of space now for Diallo inside the box. Goes to the byline, tries to cross it in. Saved by the looks of it by Verbruggen even. Matoma will clear. Tried to be brought down by Rutter, which he failed to do. Yoro's got it on the edge of the centre circle. Takes it round Rutter. Maguire's picked it up. He's going to drive forward. Still got the ball. Plays it in. Looking for Højlund. It's not a great pass. Very much a centre-half's pass in. It looks like this game's going to run away from Manchester United.
It looks like it, unfortunately, doesn't it? And it's a little bit... Again, it's a bit poor, I think, from United this afternoon, unfortunately. At least Southampton, I felt there was something there to build on, well, especially to build on, whereas instead there wasn't anything really, was there? you were waiting for it to tick over. I think in this game, Brighton have controlled it, if I'm honest, from start to finish. Yes, United probably had that 10-minute spell in the first half where they got the penalty and got their equaliser. But apart from that, I think it's been quite comfortable for Brighton. Yes, United have had the ball and had chances, but they haven't created anything where Bruggen's been put under real pressure and a real intensity about it. And once again, it's been unfortunate for United over the last few years. This is how it's been, that they'll get one result and you think, all right, we've been poor at home for a few minutes, now we can push on. As Amorim, you're 1-0 down and you do what you do against Southampton with Diallo, and it's like, all right, this is a turning point, we can turn our home form around. I know Brighton are a good side, I'm not saying you have to win. I think a draw isn't the worst result in the world against a good Brighton squad, but you go to, and now they beat you 3-1 and you go, oh, all right, now it's back to square one almost with our home form. But Brighton, again, if you just now quickly look at the table of what it does to it, of where both teams are in the table, it's a bit of a questionable one at the moment now. So I'm just trying to find, and I'm showing United are in 13th. The Arsenal in 13th, level on points with West Ham, 3 points, moves Brighton up to 9th above Fulham, and only a point behind Manchester City in the top half of the table, and with 3 points that can push them on for European football now.
Yeah, absolutely. And João Pedro, I think, has gone down with an injury to his face, it seems, holding his lip. There's only 2.5 minutes left of regular time for the Red Devils to try and get back into it at Old Trafford. There probably will be 5 or 6 minutes of added time, though. Just trying to look what's happened here. I think Collier's left elbow has caught Pedro as he's jumped up for the header. So not a pleasant one for João Pedro to receive.
Just waiting for him to get back. He's back to his feet now, I should say, helped by his team. You just see a lot of the United fans leaving early, trying to beat the traffic quickly. Looking at the next few games for both sides. United hosting Rangers on Thursday evening. That's quite a mouth-watering clash against the Scottish side. And then week after that, we'll say, what is that, next week? On the 26th, yeah, week today. Late kick-off on a Sunday. They're visiting Craven Cottage, are the Red Devils, whereas Brighton host Everton next week, and then they take the trip to the Tricky Trees Forest, who are in some great form. So United, I think they're 2 winnable games, but again, it's about form and turning it around, whereas Brighton, I know Everton have beaten Spurs today, or beating Spurs, but I think they'll be quite happy to see the Blues coming to the Amex.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're in good form now, Brighton. As I mentioned, they were on poor form before the Ipswich game. Man United with a chance in the box. Garnacho just flashed it over the bar. Such a waste, really. He's not. He looked like he was on good form at the start of the season, but like I say, that was poor for him. Not really like him. Bit of a wasted chance. He should have probably crossed it back in. Instead, he's tried to flash it near post, and it's just gone miles over.
Yeah, it has. You need to just, even if it's just the attempt to pass it to Højlund there, isn't it? So, look, I wanted to pass it to you. Look, my pass was blocked. My pass wasn't right. Whereas Højlund, I mean, if I'm Højlund, I'd be absolutely mental that I'm going, why are you going for goal from such an angle? Or at least if you're going to go for goal, drive it low, so if the keeper saves it, it might rebound to a teammate. He's almost going like, right, I'm just going to put my boot through this, put my laces through it, and hope for the best instead of trying to look for a teammate. I know maybe, I spoke about it Thursday evening, maybe the rumours with Napoli are in his head. I'm not 100% sure, but from a United point of view, I think the more he plays, the more Napoli might go, well, let's knock a little bit of money off of that transfer fee you want for him.
Yeah, indeed, potentially. But it is running away from the Red Devils. Just 5 seconds left of regular time, and then we will see what is to be added at Old Trafford. Doesn't look like Man United are going to get a point, though. They do well to score 2 goals in the remaining 8 minutes, although there is 8 minutes. Stranger things have happened. They scored, well, Amad Diallo scored 3 in 12 against Southampton. Nice ball over the top, looking for the run of Anthony. He's done well to keep it in. Amad Diallo's picked it up in the box, falls to Garnacho. That'll be a corner. In fact, no, the referee's given goal kick. As it looked like it was certainly off of Lamptey. A good block in the end. In fact, it will be a corner. I could have sworn the referee pointed at the goal kick. Corner comes in, nothing confident, easily headed away for Brighton. Collier's picked it up, trying to keep it alive. Garnacho on the left, looking to get into the box. It's onto his right foot, goes to Collier. Collier out to Bruno Fernandes. He's got a bit of space to put the ball in. Something's been given against against Manchester United, though, to to their frustration. And it's going to be an exciting end to the game at the City Ground, as Southampton have just got a second goal. Bednarak scored in the 60th minute, and now Onuachu has got a goal in the 92nd minute. There's 12 minutes at a time at the City Ground. There's 10 minutes for Southampton to try and find another goal to earn a point.
Yeah, massive points as well. It looked like they were going away with all three on Thursday. I think going to the City Ground and picking up a point would be absolutely excellent. And when you look at it, they could pick up a point there and could have picked up all three. That's in a different timeline. They could have had a great little week, could have Southampton.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, it didn't fall their way at Old Trafford Thursday night, but at the City Ground they might pick up a point. Hoyland's trying to pressure Van Heckel. Still 6 minutes left of this game, so Man United will certainly think they could get a couple goals. Header won by Maguire, knocked on by Collier. Well taken down by Garnacho, but March is over to win the ball back. Lovely turn from March to get away from Garnacho again. Good foot in by Yoro. The ball just going back and forth in terms of possession. Maguire's going to try and watch this one go out against Solly March. Fails to do so though. Concedes the throw in. So yeah, exciting end to all of the games really in the Premier League here. Manchester United probably the only team that you'd say are confidently down and out. There's still 3.5 minutes left at the Goodison Park. Spurs got a goal back, so they'll think they can certainly get 2 more. Southampton just need 1 to get back into the game. There's certainly been a lot of goals in these 3 matches. There's been 13 to be precise. Man United got a chance to counter-attack though. That's surely going to be a foul, no? On Anthony. He seems to take the ball out of his own reach, which is probably why it wasn't given. Hoyland's going to close down the goalkeeper. Long ball forward towards March. So Dalot will take the throw in, try and get a Manchester United attack underway. But it does look like Brighton are going to take 3 points away from Old Trafford for the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, I think that it's done and dusted now. And not that we've got a good amount of extra time to go, just because of how United have performed. Even if they got a goal, it would look better on paper, but I think it's a really tough pill to swallow for United, this one. Again, Brighton are a great side, but if this was still 2-1 and Onana's unfortunately made that mistake and the miscommunication between himself and De Ligt, you feel right, United probably could get an equaliser. It's only 1 where it's 2. It's really difficult, and I think the substitutions, Hoyland hasn't done much, Garnacho on the ball hasn't done much, but he might do something now. He won't. It's a good tackle, but once again, Dalot, the wing back, is just stood there in space. I'm not saying that Garnacho's going to go back and play it to him, but Garnacho needs to stop, wait for Dalot to make a run. Whether it's underlapping or overlapping, then he has more space. Almost Garnacho, as an out-and-out winger, is used to just picking the ball up and going. That's where I think I just look at it and go, right, there needs to be a bit of balance there between the number 10 wingers, whatever you want to call in the system for Amberin, and the wing-backs, because you need flying wing-backs right now.
You do indeed, but there's going to be 2 more Brighton changes to come on. João Pedro and Baleba are going to go off. I think Baleba's certainly got a case for player of the match. It's Enciso who's going to come on for João Pedro, and Gomez who's going to come on for Baleba. So Enciso will probably sit in that number 10 position as his shirt suggests. Gomez just going to help the defence out from midfield, you'd think. Again, 2 like-for-like changes. Enciso's bringing the ball forward now to Rutter. That'll be a foul from De Ligt, though, on Jorginho, as he has on his shirt. So as we approach the 95th minute, just 3 minutes left, the game's certainly running away from Manchester United. Sort of a frustrated and fatigued foul from De Ligt, really. Not particularly impressive, and he's gone into the book as well, has the Dutchman. So that'll be Man United's 2nd yellow card of the game after substitution, or the man who was substituted off the field. Picked one up in Ugarte. Brighton with a chance to get the ball forward. They're going to look for a long ball. Yoro sweeps it up, but gives possession straight back to March, who looks to put it back into the box. They just got the ball on the edge of Man United's box. Rutter's in now. He might be able to pick up a second. Was he fouled? The referee says no for now. Brighton still got the ball. It has finally made its way out of Man United's box. Dalot trying to bring it away. That'll be a foul on him, though. Might be a few question marks as to whether Rutter was fouled in the box there by Maguire. Didn't look like it was a clear-cut foul. Onana says, I'm going to take this free kick. The referee's telling him to get on with it. Not many Man United players getting forward. Bruno Fernandes says, just let me take it. So he'll pass it short to Maguire. I mean, there's only 2 minutes left of this stoppage time. There might be a minute added on if Peter Banks is feeling generous to Manchester United for the Brighton substitution. Bringing it forward now, though. Not a great deal of time left for the home side. Anthony's got it on that right-hand side, taken on Lamptey well. He's got an opportunity to put it into the box. Goes back to Bruno Fernandes, who will get it into the box, but it's blocked. Is the cross. Maguire's going to win the header. Falls now for Diallo up against Lamptey. Lamptey's come out on top and won the ball. He's done quite well since he's come on, really, to say he's up against two very pacey players in Diallo and Anthony. Onana looking to kick the ball long. Not particularly urgent from Manchester United. I think they know that the game's probably run away from them. That being said, Brighton, as they have done all game, have held a nice block of sort of 2-4s to keep them out, and they've won the ball again. Bruno Fernandes trying to play the ball through, just couldn't, and now there's a chance on for Brighton again. They're running away now. Rutter on this right hand side up against Yoro. It's a 3v3 almost. Rutter goes on the outside to the substitute March onto his left foot. Yoro's done well to keep him out. In the end, he goes back to the corner flag to try and waste a bit of time. He thinks he's won a free kick, does March, and he has. Yoro has fouled him. March is kicking off rather unnecessarily at this stage of the game, but he's put his hand on Garnacho's throat as well, not particularly aggressively though. But a chance nevertheless for Brighton to score a fourth, really, and Spurs have just scored a second goal, so it's going to be another interesting end to that game. They're into the second minute of stoppage time, so there'll be 2 minutes left to play at Goodison. Spurs will look for an equaliser. It's Richarlison who's scored. 10 seconds left of regular time at Old Trafford, still 3-2 at the City Ground, 3 minutes left to play there. And I think Yoro was just annoyed at how March was covering the ball, really, wasting a bit of time, but it's a bit silly from the young Frenchman to start any sort of handbags when you're 2 down. There's not much you're going to gain from that.
No, not really. And as you said, he slightly put. I think March, he was picked up a yellow card, I assume, for the interaction of his response. Maybe the same for Yoro as well. I think if he more aggressively puts his hands around the throat of Garnacho, it's possibly a red for me. Only because I say that Casemiro a few years ago, didn't he got a red card for a similar situation. But it looks like game will be over here shortly. United with a free kick for, I think, an offside, and Onana will boot it long, and probably that'll be done here at Old Trafford. Whereas the other two games, as you say, a bit nail-biting ends in the Premier League 2 o'clock kickoffs.
Yeah, indeed. Been goals at the end of the other 2 games, and Peter Banks says that will be that. So it's finished at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3.